My trust has demonstrated that by investing in the potential of young people, society and a circular green economy based on harmony with nature will feel the positive benefits for years to come. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who is already supporting young people around the world. But most of all, I want to show my appreciation of what the younger generation can achieve. It is particularly important that you know your resilience is respected, your determination is admired, and that our commitment to you is clear in order to give you all the chance you deserve.
By the privilege of God's grace, let me tell you sincerely, the life of this man standing before you is a testimony of sacrifice. Testimony of sacrifice.
Today we celebrate International Youth Day and the power of partnerships across generations. This year's theme, Intergenerational Solidarity, Creating a World for All Ages, reminds us of a basic truth. We need people of all ages, young and old alike, to join forces to build a better world for all. Too often, ageism, bias and discrimination prevent this essential collaboration. When young people are shut out of the decisions being made about their lives, or when older people are denied the chance to be heard, we all lose. Solidarity and collaboration are more essential than ever as our world faces a series of challenges that threaten our collective future. From COVID-19 to climate change, to conflicts, poverty, inequality and discrimination, we need all hands on deck to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and build the better, more peaceful future we all seek. We need to support young people with massive investments in education and skills building, including through next month's Transforming Education Summit. We also need to support gender equality and expanded opportunities for young people to participate in civic and political life. It's not enough to listen to young people. We need to integrate them into decision-making mechanisms at the local, national and international levels. This is at the heart of our proposal to establish a new youth office at United Nations.
Hi, Dr. Looking
and
beautiful.
we need to ensure that older generations have access to social protection and opportunities to give back to their communities and share the decades of lived experience they have accumulated. On this important
Treasure,
day,
how are
let's
you? Good
join
morning.
hands across
I
generations
am
to
blessed
break down
today. I
barriers
am faced with
and work
treasure
as one
and
to
money
achieve a
come.
more
Can you
equitable,
imagine?
just and inclusive world.
Good morning.
I am
Monica.
very well, thank you. It's such an honor to be here.
Yes.
Dr. Ada, your bank is full and running over.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Melissa. My name is actually a trick, so that people pay attention when someone pronounces it wrong. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here and also for giving me the honor of sharing the stage with Midori and Yo-Yo.
I just said
completely
Dr.
starstruck
Sanchez, how
right
are
now,
you?
and apologies
I
in
am
advance
very
if I
good,
mix up
thank you.
my thoughts.
God bless you.
First of all,
abundantly.
before I go into
Thank
the
you,
content
I
of what
claim
I
it.
want to
I'm
talk about,
standing
I also
in
want
the
to
shadow
take
of my
a moment
sister so that
to
the
remember all
drippings
the
could
young
cover
peace
me
builders
and my bank
on
could
the
also
front
be
lines.
filled.
As we speak, there are young
Absolutely.
people in Somalia, in Iraq,
Absolutely.
in Colombia, in Libya,
Bishop
who
of
are
Mukono.
in various ways
Welcome.
promoting peace in their
You're
communities,
welcome. You're
mediating
welcome.
conflicts among tribal
Don't
groups,
forget I'm a
armed groups,
bootleg
and really
African, okay?
advocating and even peacekeeping in
Yes.
some of the most advanced, complex humanitarian settings and conflict settings around around the world. So I take this moment on the International Day of Peace to remember the sacrifices and the bravery and courage of young peace builders around the world. I also want to say a big hello to all the young people watching us from Kosovo.
Welcome
I
to
had the
attendees
opportunity to
online.
visit
I
Kosovo
see
earlier this
Gambia
year to
is
join
online.
the
Hi,
third
Mustafa.
National
I
Youth
know.
Forum,
I see
Kosovo
you
Youth
online.
Forum that
Thank you for logging
SRHD
on.
Sahir Tanin organized through the
To all
UNMIC.
my
And I've
other
also
peoples
seen
online,
firsthand how the
welcome,
young
good
people
morning.
in Kosovo are working together across the lines
Thank
of
you for
ethnicity and
participating.
boundaries of religion and caste and all the differences to come together to find common solutions to their issues. So with that in mind and with all these experiences that I referred to in this start of my speech, when I go to places, I ask young people, what does
I
peace
see
mean
you,
to
Yusufa. Good
And I also
morning.
ask
Good
the same
night, where
question
you
from
are.
you. I want you
Good
to
morning,
think
how are
in
you?
your mind,
Very
what does
good, thank
peace
you.
mean to you as a young person?
Yeah,
The
I am
answers
going
that I
back. I'm coming
usually
from
get
Dakar,
is
going back to
it's
Gambia.
it's definitely rarely the
Oh,
absence of
wow.
conflict. The answers that I
Yeah.
usually get is peace for me is doing the job I love. Peace for me is getting to marry the person that I
Mr.
love. Peace for
Balde,
me is to have the
my
freedom of
brother.
expression, to be able to
How are
express my
you?
thoughts in freedom.
Very well,
Peace for me
thank
is to be
you.
able to get an education that I like and I'm passionate about. So peace for us looks like different things. And when we put that in the context of climate change and climate action, if we are not going to have a planet, a decent
I
planet, a
can't wait
healthy
to come to
planet, a
Africa
livable planet
and
in
make
the
that
next
trip.
20, 30 years, how are we even going to talk about peace? When somebody asks you, what do you want to be in the future? How can we even think about 10, 15 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line when we don't even know if we are going to have a planet to live in? So we need to put all of this in context and really see peace as a broader concept, a concept that allows all of us to live a livable, peaceful life and have our well-being as human beings assured. And when we go specifically then into climate change, and in the case that we are unable to listen to the science and act on science and keep the temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius, then the consequences will be dire, and young people like you will have your future in a very detrimental situation. So with all of this, we've seen how young people take this very seriously and have come to the streets to demand for action from our world leaders. I think the good news is that we are the largest generation in the world. Our world has never been this young. Half of the world's population right now is under 30 years. So we need to use this as our power. We are also the most educated generation of young people. We are also very aware of climate change and climate action than the generations before us. We have social media as a tool that helps us connect with each other from our countries, but also from other parts of the world. But social media also as a tool that we can hold policymakers accountable. And with all of this connected, I believe that our generations, millennials and Gen Z together, can create a wave, can create a huge wave, a huge wind that can turn the tide and that can move the direction of huge Titanic-like systems that we have in our world today, from our political to social to economic models. So I count on all of you to do the best in your individual capacity to act on climate action. It could be that you join a school, the strikes for climate or the protests for climate. It could be that you choose to fundraise for an organization that works on environmental activism. It could be that you join a youth organization that organizes climate activism. It could be that tomorrow you join us for the Youth Climate Summit that we are hosting ahead of the Secretary General's Climate Summit on Monday. You can follow the Climate Summit online, tweet, and use the advocacy material available to you to really raise your voices and push our leaders so that they take the right action, they listen to the science, and they are responsible and take the action to ensure that we as young people have a livable planet to live in. So thank you very much.
Let this sweet mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth while you sleep, and say goodbye to the dentist forever. People are fixing their bleeding and receding gums, loosening teeth and decay, infections and throbbing pain, all by letting this soft mineral melt on their tongue just before bed. A highly acclaimed oral surgeon, Dr. Drew Sutton, has just discovered a powerful, sweet mineral that can regrow your gums and teeth almost overnight. How is this possible? This mineral feeds your mouth with pure oxygen and microscopic healing ingredients that reach deep inside your gum pockets and in between your teeth, something not possible until now. This technique is 9 times more effective than any existing solution, which means you may never have to step foot into a dentist's office for agonizing treatments or outrageous bills ever again, as this can be done from the comfort of home in only seconds. So if you are still struggling with any type of periodontal issue, gingivitis, abscesses, toothaches, cavities, or bad breath, then this discovery could change your life and save your teeth. So stop everything you're doing and click the Watch Now button below to see a short, free, eye-opening video that will show you exactly how you can start using this technique tonight. The special mineral gets to work right away, restoring years' worth of gum damage and decay in just a matter of days. It has already worked for more than 150,000 people, and surely it can work for you too. Even if you've been battling decay, plaque buildup or bleeding gums for years. Wouldn't it be wonderful to smile, laugh and have a close conversation with confidence? Imagine enjoying a meal without fear, pain, or that terrible metallic blood taste, and best of all having a beaming smile you can be proud of. This discovery is sending ripples through the billion-dollar dental industry. They are working to protect their profits and prevent this powerful gum and tooth rejuvenation secret from being leaked any further. Click the blue button to watch now, before it's too late.
Hello.
Did you join?
Yes, I'm on the panelist. I'm ready.
Okay.
If you suffer from joint pain or arthritis, I'm going to show you how to go from this to this, and this to this, and even this to this, just by eliminating one extremely common item in your home. This item is so toxic, it's actually poisoning your joints. Just stick with me for 2.5 minutes because I'm going to explain everything you need to know.
Yes, good morning. I hope I can be heard. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from where we are calling from. This is a very special day to World Youth. Happy International Youth Day to the youth of the world. I can see the youth are gathered. I can see our ambassador and father of Youth Gather Global, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dennis Antoine, who is here with us this morning as usual. I can see who else? I can see the Secretary General of Youth Gather Global, Her Royal Highness Princess from South Africa. She's also seated. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, I can see the chairman of Youth Gather Global, the governing council, His Royal Highness Prince Dr. Osita. And I can see the able advocate and a daughter of Africa who missed road to the Caribbean, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez. I can see her seated. I can see the youth in the house. There are youth in the house. Gambia, UK, Africa, name it. I can see them in the house. This is a very special day. I can see our little girl from Tanzania. She's also seated. Oh my God. Oh, the brightness of Youth Gather Global. Mary Kuret is also seated. Oh my God. How are you all doing? I can see all panelists, all speakers, all gathered. And also we have a handful of youth who are also in the attendees section, who are going to listen to this wonderful celebration. I can see the members of Youth Gather in the house, the chapter coordinators, the members of Youth Gather, who are here in honor of our second anniversary of Youth Gather Global. What a day, what a day. I welcome you all. And I'm not the moderator. I'm going to hand over to the event to the anchor person of the day to pilot the affairs, to start from the program. And that's in no other person than Her Royal Highness Princess Shepi from Motlong from South Africa, the General Secretary of Youth Gather Global. You have the floor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, our Chancellor. And it is a good afternoon from South Africa. And let us all know where everybody is connecting from. We welcome you all. Allow me to say welcome to the 75th International Youth Day. We are indeed grateful to be in this day with you, for you to take time to come with us to come and celebrate also the second anniversary of Youth Gather Global. Indeed, if you can just clap hands for us in the chat, let us know where you are from. I see Gambia from West Africa. Gambia is in the house. Let us see who else is in the house. New York, of course, that's where Dr. Ada is.
New York is in the house. Nigeria is in the house.
Sorry. New York is in the house.
Yes. Uganda is in the house.
Uganda is in the house. I don't see them. Let's see. South Africa, where are you? South Africa, I saw that
South Africa,
we do have
not
South
in the
Africa
house.
that is.
Uganda is in the house.
Uganda is in the house. I'm wondering, I saw some faces, some names that are familiar. So if South Africa can let us know that they are in the house. So we warmly welcome all of you. We warmly welcome all of you, and thank you for taking time once again to come and celebrate with us. And once again, I am just the moderator. We have a very, very exciting program today. We are going to be exactly, I think, 2 hours or even less. This is going to be a bullet train because we have our international conference coming next week. So our Chancellor has to go and see to those affairs as well. So going straight into our program, I would like to allow our Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, help us to welcome once again on the stage, our Chancellor, our Executive Director, Dr. Ada Okika. Thank you so much, ma'am. You may have the mic. To let us know why we are here today, to let us know what has put us here today. Thank you.
Greetings once again and happy International Youth Day to all youth of the world. And of course, happy second anniversary to Youth Together Global. It's an interesting part that we are moving this journey along the United Nations agenda of the International Youth Day. When the Youth Together Global first came up during the heat of the COVID, we thought of an initiative, the Sub-Saharan Open University, the Center for SDG Global Education, and His Royal Highness Yamusa Shindo Foundation. We thought of what can we put together in order to keep the youth of Africa and youth of nations under focus within the decade of action, especially when the United Nations Secretary General called for initiatives to ensure that we don't fail the Sustainable Development Goals. And years we are fast running out. He called for a decade of action in 2020, making it 10 years then to come to the end of the 2030 development agenda. And then we say, fine, we can bring on the youth, especially youth in developing countries who are not conversant about the decade of action. And we were lucky that youth became ignited when it was launched. They became excited and they became committed. We had country chapters, country coordinators in almost how many countries of the world. And we gathered these coordinators and they came and decide and make up their minds to be a part of the movement in the positioning the youth of the world under the Youth Together Global in meeting up with 4 E's of the Sustainable Development Goals. So I'm happy that today is our 22nd anniversary and we are still counting. And today we are joining the global community to celebrate the International Youth Day, which was established by the United Nations to bring the voices of youth together in issues concerning them along the UN agenda. And for many years, right from the Office of UN Envoy on Youth and every other department, there had been action-oriented programs, movements, activities, trying to empower youth, allowing them opportunity to voice out. And this is what we are doing. So this year, the 2022 International Youth Day, the general theme is intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages. Intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages. Now, to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the world needs to leverage the full potentials of all generations. Solidarity across generations is the key for sustainable development. We must collaborate to foster successful and equitable intergenerational relations and partnerships to ensure no one is left behind. While intergenerational solidarity and concern for future generation is being called for in tackling global issues, with the United Nations Secretary General recently putting forward new recommendations on renewed intergenerational solidarity, including our common agenda, many challenges remain. Again, continues to present a significant yet not sufficiently discussed challenge to fostering collaborations and solidarity across age groups. The World Health Organization defines ageism as the stereotypes, how we think, prejudice, how we feel, and discrimination, how we act, directed towards others or oneself based on age. Ageism is an insidious and often an unaddressed issue in health, human rights, and development, and has bearing on both older and younger population around the world. In addition, ageism regularly intersects with other forms of bias, such as racism and sexism, and impacts people in ways that prevent them to reach their full potentials and comprehensively contribute to their community. The Global Report on Ageism, launched by the United Nations in March 2021, highlights the many data gaps that exist with regards to ageism against youth. Despite this lack of research, young people continue to report age-related barriers in various spheres of their lives, such as employment, political participation, health, and justice. On an individual level, these age-related obstacles can deeply impact well-being and livelihood, not only during the youth phase, but also in adulthood. On a societal level, ageism prevents us from thinking and designing policies and social services that adopt a life course approach and are fair to all for ages. The objective of fostering intergenerational solidarity between generations is more than ever necessary to ensure an inclusive and sustainable recovery. As we navigate the third year of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is especially important to recognize and address these age-related barriers to build back better in a manner that leverages all generations and strengthens and knowledge. The objective of this year's International Day of Youth stands to amplify the message that action is needed across all generations to achieve the SDGs and leave no one behind, especially leave no young one behind. The 2022 International Youth Day will also raise awareness on certain barriers to intergenerational solidarity, notably ageism, which impacts young and old persons while having detrimental effects on a society as a whole. The theme builds on the momentum from two side events, which are organized globally by the UN agencies and partners. On one, ageism on health and employment, and two, ageism in politics on the margins of the 60th Commission of the Social Development and the 11th edition of the ECOSOC Youth Forum, respectively. To ensure inclusively, today's global event, through webinar, through in-person participation, we feature a lot of speakers from civil societies, a lot of programs just as ours, while ensuring age, regional, and gender representation. Special consideration will be given to youth at the intersection of multiple vulnerable situations. Additionally, public institutions are also expected to share examples of efforts they are putting in place to promote intergenerational dialogue and combat ageism at the local, national, and international levels. I welcome you to this. This is the grounding idea of the United Nations agenda for this year's International Youth Day. And I urge you that as Youth Gather Global has set up our team in engaging youth through the generations implication for sustainable Africa. I get you to get involved, have yourself to bring up ideas that can help Youth Gather Global to engage youth through generations and be able to create a sustainable African environment for all youths in Africa. I bless you and I welcome you to this second anniversary of Youth Gather Global and the International 2022 International Youth Day. Bless you all.
Thank you. We also bless you. We receive our blessings. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Our Executive Director, our Chancellor. How wonderful to elaborate as to who we are, what I have learned, what I would like all of us to take as we are, when we depart here, is the theme, which is engaging youth through the generations. intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages. Please let us all know. And she spoke about something that is very key to us, sustainability. She spoke something that is very key to us about the SDGs. And we can only be able to achieve this through the goal number 17, collaborations. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with our program, as I have said, I am still so excited. Now I bring you on stage His Royal Highness Prince Dr. Osita Anyemeka, the Chairman and Governing Council Youth Gather Global and President of Sub-Saharan Open University in Africa. He's going to be elaborating to us about the Youth Gather Global and youth development in these 2 years or 2 years later. Your Royal Highness, the mic is yours. Thank you. You need to unmute, sir. You need to unmute.
Sorry. Thank you, Shepi. Thank you so much, Princess Shepi. My subject today will be PhD, not the degree. Pull him down. This has been the concept that had befallen the youth of Africa. And I say this because I come from that situation. I know students who have been pulled down by lecturers. I know young people who have been pulled down by neighbors. But my subject today is Amusa Uddin. Amusa Uddin was supposed to have graduated with first class in his college, but made a second class upper because a lecturer, his teacher, vowed that he could never be the best student ever in computer science department. So you ask, what was his offense? Amusa sat in class and decided one day to courageously challenge the teacher, saying that his postulations were wrong. That irked the teacher so badly that he swore that Amusa was going to suffer, that he was going to be so dealt with. Because he, the lecturer, didn't make a first class, nobody was going to make a first class in his department. And then the story continued that Amusa eventually made a second class upper, failed, to reach his goals. But it didn't end there. When he came back to collect his call-up letter for NYSC, NYSC is the mandatory service year for graduates in Nigeria, he found that he was posted to Kebbi. Kebbi is one of the most disadvantaged states in Nigeria, education-wise. And that also touched him because his dream was to serve in a place like Lagos or Abuja, the state capital and the commercial capital, and then use that experience to start his career immediately. But he was not, going to get there. So when he took his letter, he traveled all the way to Kebbi and was sent to camp in Kebbi. He arrived camp in Kebbi and had some of his classmates who were in school with him said to him that you are lucky, because the man was boasting that you would have spent one extra year in school because he was your teacher and you did the wrong thing by challenging him in class. This also depressed Amusa so badly that he didn't know what to do, but he kept on. But while in his NYSC days, he started working very hard to see what he could do for Kebbi State. So, he talked to people who were interested, in developing the state, and he found himself using the small amount of computer and the small amount of time he had to encourage young people in Kebbi to be interested in computer science. Long story short, before he left Kebbi, he had raised, a groundswell number of young people who got interested in computer and computer sciences. That made him very, very visible. So the state governor noticed him, he won a couple of awards. This was 12 years ago. Before the end of that year, he became so popular that he was sponsored to go out and study and get so many things. So on his way, on coming back, he was hired by one of the best computer companies in the country, and he was doing international programs. In one of these programs, he met the lecturer in the same conference. They met there, and the lecturer was looking at him and pretended as if he didn't know him. So he walked up to him and said to him, "Good morning, professor. This is me. This is my name. This is who I am." The lecturer pretended as if he didn't know him. And he said to the lecturer, "I was the one who made a 2-1, second class upper instead of a first class, and so on and so forth." And the lecturer looked at him again and said, "No, I can't remember you. The fact is that our young people have been faced with a PhD syndrome all over Africa. Our young people have been tortured and pulled down because they seem to be more promising than the faculty members who taught them." Who we are in Youth Gather Global is the team of very meaningful and very purposeful people that have come to move the PhD syndrome above our heads. What we are doing, what we have done in the last 2 years, is to move from that concept to where our young men and women have become very courageous. We practice the 4 E's: entrepreneurship, education, empowerment, and exchange programs. These 4 E's have helped us to catch our youth young, give them the power to become who they want to become, let them live their dreams. By entrepreneurship, they become self-employed and employers of labor. By empowerment, they see the future in their hands. With education, they are ready for the fortunes of the future. And by exchange program, they're meeting youth from all over the world. So what we have done in the last 2 years is to focus on the fact that our young people are good enough now, and their future is not in the future, their future is now. And working in those directions, we've been able to get young people who are ready, willing, and available to start their own lives now, to start working with their peers in their countries. And they have also begun to develop programs that are helping them change the fortunes of their different nations. So what have we done? We have brought hope to our people. We have brought parents to know that the children that they have brought to the world are the ones who are going to save the world. We have also started, showing them what it means to listen to learn and not listen to respond. We have brought them to a position where our young people today now have started their own programs, and we're supporting them. And we're going to spend the next 1 year, growing from that to create more promises for the nations of Africa working with these young people. So our country liaisons are here. They have been able to work on their own. And then we have programs now that will help them move forward, that is going to take them to distances that they never envisaged before. We have encouraged them to lead their own country youths, so that when they come to us and we work with them, we are expecting that this generation that is standing before them now would create a new generation with them, and they will create new generations, for their children. And in doing that, we are looking forward to the next 10 years of promises, the next 10 years in which we've done 2 already, in the next 8 years rather, when the decade of action ends, we'll have grown a groundswell of young people, young men and women who are ready to take the mantle of leadership in their different countries and come across as peers, amongst themselves from different countries, and see that they can use themselves as the powers to be for the future. What we are telling them today is that for those of them who are here with us, for those of them who are country liaisons and country coordinators, for those of them who come from outside the continent, but are country coordinators wherever they are because of who they are, the future is in your hands. Youth Gather Global has started. We've done 2 years of excellent work. We are continuing with you, and we're hoping that many more young people will join us, will join us, so that we can use what we have to get what we're looking for. I thank you all for attending this. I thank you all for joining us to celebrate our second anniversary and to commemorate the 2022 International Youth Day. I also thank you for your promises. For those of you who have made promises to us, we are looking forward to how and where we can make you redeem your promises so that we continue to raise a groundswell of young people who will help us lead this continent by leading their countries right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Great words. Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness Prince Dr. Osita. Great words indeed. We are really led by our leaders. This is our chairperson, as we have heard from our chancellor as well. Yes, you can clap hands. Yes, you can click. Yes, you can appreciate even in the chat. Indeed, great, great leaders. What is ours now is to openly engage, both young and old. Be willing to learn. This is what I'm hearing from him. Be willing to learn, and also to stop the pull him down or pull head down syndrome, so that we can be able to move towards the Agenda 2063. Because I don't know if we are going to be here, but the young ones are still going to be there. So it is always so imperative, so critical in this season to pass the baton also to the minds that are open-minded. Thank you for your generosity, Dr. Osita and our Chancellor. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us go on. We are going to be hearing about the global development and aging, youth and their generations from Professor Carl Oshodi, PhD as a generation, as a qualification, not as the crippling mind that Dr. Osita has just spoken about. He is the GCEO of Faculty Head, Chris Summit Group. Professor, the mic is yours.
And just let me find out where he is so that we know whether.
Right. Thank you so much. In the meantime,
Professor, what is his name?
Carlos Shirley.
I've not seen him on the line.
Oh, okay, fine. So go ahead. I'll call him now and find out whether he's held up. I'll just go ahead to the next person, please. Yes.
Great, great. Thank you so much. When we go ahead, we are going to call upon Ambassador Ghazala Khan, Mission Head, Federation of International Gender and Human Rights in Pakistan. Are you here, sir? Are you here?
Mazal Khan is female and she is in the attendees room.
Okay, I promoted
it. Mentioned that.
My apologies.
I promoted her.
My apologies. My apologies. Madam Ambassador Ghazala Khan, can you hear us now?
Yes, she's there.
Yeah.
And she has unmuted. Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
From Pakistan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much for giving me this platform, this opportunity.
Where are
it's
you?
my pleasure.
I can't find you. I need to spot you out. Okay, I've seen you.
She's speaking already. Yeah, she's right there.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Sitting in front of our bookshelf. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Ambassador Ghazala Khan. I'm from Pakistan. I'm representing Federation of International Gender and Human Rights as mission head. Its head office is in New York, while I am from Pakistan, so I am representing my country. Federation of International Gender and Human Rights is mostly empowering women, and it is about the Sustainable Development Goals. So my focus is on women empowerment, women wellness, and bringing them into the mainstream. So it also includes the men and young youths too, though, like the girls and the boys too. And it is an honor for me that today I am on this platform, 75th, and we are celebrating the Youth International Day. I would like to congratulate all panelists and as the speakers who talked before me regarding that how youth are struggling for their empowerment. Like the education which we are providing to our youth is not very functional. It's like up to the book value, bookish, and they just read, write, learn it, and pass their exams. But now, as the world is changing and there is more need for the skill set, which we are not providing them from the educational background, our educational system, which we already have. So with taking these things in my mind, I came up with the course, which is named as Global Governance and Diplomacy, which is available on the Sub-Saharan Open University platform. So it is the small contributions from me for the youth that who need some skill set and who wants to join the diplomacy, who are the leaders and have leadership mindset, and they want to work for the independence or for the growth of their own country and own society and even economy. So this can provide them a very good pathway. As our respectful Excellency said, that Dr. Ada, that our youth need the skill sets. So as according to me, that yes, that and even she said that there are less opportunities for youth because there are age limits. So the course which I developed, it will open a horizon and doors for them if they choose the diplomacy and ambassadorship as a career. So there is no age limit, like up to age of 65 years, a person can appear for the examination of as a diplomat or diplomacy. Like they already have some studies from the bachelor or the master. So they are eligible. They just have to go through the steps to know that how they can prepare themselves for the diplomatic position. There are 8 different positions, like they can work in the foreign affairs, they can work in the economic department, they can work in the diplomatic department, they can represent as an ambassador their own country in another country by passing these exams. And in Africa, there are, I already mentioned in this course that there are some institutions through which they can get them some enroll, and after enrollment, they can pass this exam. So the reason why I am telling all about this, because this is specifically for the youth, and as the youth is disappointed after having education, like even for a PhD, and after PhD they are looking for the government position and they couldn't find the jobs. So this is my advice for them. As I'm also pursuing my PhD, and after getting admission in that, I realize that PhD is not the solution and it is not the way. Like there are a lot of different ways in which youth can contribute and work on their own skill set and get like if I talk specifically about the course, so it's about like they can learn the empathy, they can learn how to mediate, and how they can work in the conflict zone or conflict area and work for the Africa specifically and in the growth of their own country. So I wish them all the best. I would like them to look forward and open the horizon for their own skill set and open their mind and work for the betterment, unity, and economy of the world, their own country, and sustainability of this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Ambassador Madam Kazala Khan. Thank you for those words of wisdom indeed. Thank you. We have noticed today in the comments in the Q&A, we apologize where you felt we were not taking care of the adverts. I think it was earlier on in the program. Thank you so much to all those that have commented. I don't see Sophia and Christian, so I'm going to move forward and call Miss Lillian Treasure, full-time faculty ABM, MOUAU, and VC Scholar, Natural Resources Institute, University of Greenwich in UK. If you can hear me, Madam, will you please take the center stage?
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. And before I start, I would like to say a very warm congratulations to all the youth of the United Nations and all over the world. I am so happy to be here, and I'm excited each time I get the opportunity to speak with the youths, or I get the opportunity to engage with them, because, I mean, building on what Dr. Osita had said, it's a lived experience. It's not something that is far away. And because of that, it has motivated me even the more to support the youth, to support people who are struggling with some of these challenges, to help us build this solidarity between generations. I'm going to tell a very personal story from my own experience. You know, I grew up in an environment where you have to dare to dream. It's not a place where everything is rosy and things are just available at your beck and call, because everyone would want to give you excuses. There are challenges, we have our limitations, we cannot break beyond this particular ceiling, things are tying us down. At some point in our lives, we had to face head on with some of those challenges. And then the beauty of it is how determined are you to go beyond these limits? How passionate are you about your dreams, about your visions, about the things you would like to do? For example, Dr. Osita had mentioned the National Youth Service Corps. I did study in Nigeria, and I faced the first step challenges from the university, and then I scaled through that. And secondly, during our National Youth Service Corps, I had to work even harder to try to, blend within the environment where you don't get a chance to participate in everything, but then I was very visible. There were conferences that needed to be attended, and I didn't just go there to sit down like others. I went to conferences within this, the offices where we were posted to support. And in between that experience in NYSC, I had to mobilize my fellow youths from different agencies. And why did I do that? Because I wanted us to create an avenue for conversation, for exchange, for interaction. And we started doing our monthly seminars. People would come and share their stories, share their projects and reports. And it grew so strong. And you find out that in such an environment, being a young person, especially being a woman, or a female, it's even more challenging. But there was when the big break started. After the National Youth Service Corps, I found myself still visiting the office to sort of support what is going on, because I needed to learn a lot of things. There are things you are not taught in class, but you just needed to build your own capacity and just be able to navigate when you're out of the environment. And in one of the occasions, I had the opportunity of meeting a regional director who was looking for somebody to work with. Well, that was not planned. I did not know about it, but I was just passionately supporting the cause of the conference that was going on. And during one of the panel sessions, I was asked to take notes, and I did. Took notes, summarized it, and I was called to go and make a presentation. And look at me, a very young, fresh graduate in the midst of people who are professors, regional directors, agencies from different places, talking about a cluster promotion in a big agency. I asked myself, why would I come out and share the discussion from the panel when we have big people to handle this? But then I stood up to that challenge and I made a presentation. And that was where the boss identified me and decided to give me an opportunity to come work with her. And trust me, the technology was not there. I had to go to get a paid service for internet to check my emails. I had no laptop. I had no internet connection, but I struggled with all of this. And at the end of the day, I was given a job to do without even knowing that I was being interviewed, because my first assessment was to join a meeting, take minutes of meeting, just like she did with others. And we all participated in the meeting, took minutes of meeting, and we were mandated to submit the minutes the next day. And it turned out that I was the only person that did that and submitted. Why am I sharing this? Our young people in Africa, we know the challenge of electricity, we know the challenge of technology, we know all the challenge and the limitations, but trust me, if you would dare to shine wherever you are, if you can dare to do things differently, people would like to take the easy path. They would like to walk away. They would like to tell you, wow, it's difficult. I have all these limitations. The problem is not the limitation. The problem is what you're willing to do to scale through that limitation. And after that submission, I got an email without even knowing I've been offered a job. Because I couldn't check my email, I have to go to a business center, pay for internet service to check my email. And then the lady called me, she's South African. Probably if I mention her name, our moderator here will know her. She's a very strong personality in South Africa. She called me and said, Lillian, what's going on? I've not heard back from you. It's almost a week. Don't you like the job? Don't you want to work with me? I told her, oh, I'm so sorry. I need to dash into the business center to check my email. And she dropped in tears. She was crying. You mean you don't have a laptop? You need to go check your email from somewhere else? And she was so amazed at that. And, you know, that gave me the opportunity to break into an environment that really prepared me for where I am right now. And after that, by the time I got to the office, I had the laptop on the desk waiting for me, an internet modem, and then a list of things to do. With many other challenges, you know, testing my capacity, testing my determination and all of that. But then it goes on. I can go on and on telling about this. That was where I worked so hard. And after getting the job, it was more like, yes, you're here. It's a place to stop. But I just couldn't stop. I look around me, I see people who are doing very well. I see senior colleagues. I see people who are in development, women, powerful young women who are doing this. And I ask myself, why can't I also grow into this person? I mean, you have to have that quest, that aspiration to go beyond where you are. And because of that, I applied for scholarship. I got admission in 4 universities to do my master's program and had no funding. Well, was looking for a way that someone can maybe pay for my fees, but then that did not happen. But all of a sudden, I did not stop. I continued pressing, and then I got a scholarship, went to Rome to do my master's, and did not stop there. Trust me, you have to really be dogged. You have to really be focused. You have to be determined. You have to break the jinx. For us youths, our challenges are just, when our Madam Ambassador was speaking, she said something about, you know, the problems that are intersecting, they are just webbed, they are around you. You have a lot of limitations. But that did not stop me. I told myself, I am in Rome, studying in a university in Rome, and the United Nations offices are in Rome. I told myself, Lillian, you have to be a part of one of these agencies. You have to work here. And what will I do? Lunchtime, I'll go with my ID card, find a way to sneak into FAO room, and I will try to listen around to see what is going on. And then they had a group of people preparing for the state of food agriculture in the world. It was a report. I got to know the name of the person who is the team lead. I literally walked into his office. I was walking into the offices, one office after the other, and I greeted him, called him by his name. Do I know you? He said no. I told him, I learned that you're the one leading the SOFA report, and I can bring you case study from Africa. I've worked in 5 African countries, and if you like, I can share case studies around agriculture, research, and extension. And then the demand-led extension was still, the in thing then. Now, he was surprised at my boldness. Who brought you here? How did you come here? What is this? So all of this together, it's an experience that really molded me. And it's an experience that really helped me to break beyond many barriers. And afterwards, I came back to work at the faculty in the university to really build the minds of youth, to try to grow, to try to expand, to try to aspire, and to try to also use the resources available to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inspiring me, Lillian. We are sure they are going to have more conversations with you and enjoy to tell, and you have more to share. It is unfortunate that our time on our webinar is so limited, but we know that as we move forward with our programs as Youth Gathered Global, we will be using the stories that you have. They are definitely going to be encouraging and inspiring our youth. Thank you ever so much. And may you continue with that zealousness. May you continue to be that inspiration for our youth in the continent as well. Thank you. Let us go on now, ladies and gentlemen. We acknowledge the comments that we are receiving on our Q&A. We have seen them. We acknowledge the comments that we are receiving in our chat. We definitely are going to be reading more. Unfortunately, we are unable to add any speakers right now because our program is already being tied up. Thank you so much. Let us go on, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be hearing from McGodwin Iwia Junua. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing it well. If not, I'm already apologizing.
Yeah.
He's the CEO of Schengen Story Media, Milan, Italy. We will be hearing about youth and ageism in Africa, preparing for the new future now. Thank you, sir. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Can you hear me? I want to thank Her Excellency, Dr. Ada, for putting this together, and the Board of Trustees of the Youth Gathered Global Movement. It's an honor for me to be with the youth in a day like this, celebrating the United Nations Day of the Youth and the Youth Gathered Global second anniversary. Yes, so my name is McGodwin Iwia Junua. I'm a businessman, what you call entrepreneur, and passing through some experiences in life. I think I have small tip to give to our youth. First of all, let's say this. It's something that's worthy, a noble word to say to the youth. The African youth are the key and the future of the world. Yes, they are. African youth have a lot. There's so much dynamism. There's so much resiliency. There's so much knowledge, and all it takes in the African youth. The average African youth has a lot to offer. So I'm glad to be speaking on the youth and the ageism in Africa, preparing for the future. Like we all said, a lot of beautiful comments here. my very good friend, Dr. Osita, and the lady that just finished speaking. We are in a time when what we like we say, we live in a non-linear, non-static world. So you can go beyond every barrier and pull out whatever it is that is positive that you want to do. But one thing that must be said, the youth need to understand that life has some secrets to becoming who we want to become. The young lady, the speaker before me was talking about her resiliency and how she went through the passage of who she is now. But one thing that must be noted is to go through these passages, we need to put up some of human characters that helps us win at every of the stage of life. And what are those characters? Yes, we talk of resiliency, that ability of a person to stand in the heat of whatever situation it may be and still pull through. Now the youth need to build up more of that because the future is not going to be as cozy, as fluffy and comfortable as we think. It's going to be filled with thorns and thistles. So our resiliency, our determination, and more importantly, having a sense of orderliness, having a sense of doing things the way things should be done. Sadly, I'm sorry to say this, but this is a fact. So some youths have this mindset that the world owns them, that they should have some things come their way like that, you know. So we need to understand that you need to walk to get to where you are. We need to understand also that character is a key in the line of progress. Character is a key in the line of progress. What are those characters? Understanding that we need to respect authority. These days, young people want to tell you they know so much. So, I mean, who will control them? But character matters. In the field of business, you find out that the humble, ready to follow instruction person gets things done easily. So the youth need to understand so many of these characters helps us build this future that we all desire. Yes, there'll be challenges, and yes, there have been challenges. There have been challenges. In fact, it's said that we are facing the challenge of food as a result of the COVID. We're facing challenges of clean water, but there are solutions to all of these challenges. And the youth will play an important role in mobilizing and doing something to bring about solutions to these challenges. We look forward to a sustainable future together. And the youths are the delegates that will do this for us. More than 50 million young people around the world migrate out of Africa. Sorry, more than 50 million youths in Africa migrate out of Africa, looking for better life, looking for good, greener pastures, looking for, all the good things of life. But the thing now is, being given the right tools, these same youths can put out all these things we're looking for as greener pastures right there in Africa. So it's time to reinvent. It's time to submit, reinvent, recreate, bring new ideas. Like we talked of the food crisis, there are technological solutions to that. The clean water program, there are technological solutions to that. So we need to look inside of us and begin to work. But more importantly, our character matters. You see, a man endowed with technological skill that doesn't know how to relate with his colleagues or his fellow people will not go far with that knowledge. So the youth need to understand that life requires some human behaviors that are key to doing what we need to do. I'm also told to speak about ageism. Well, Madam, Her Excellency, Dr. Ada has talked about ageism. It's just a stereotype they've coined out. And all these wants to put us at the bottom of life. But we won't take that. We won't take any prejudice. We won't take any discrimination. The youth has to stand up, like the speakers have all said. We need to recognize that we hold the power to a lot of progressive things. But we can't do this if our characters are not right. We can't do this if we also had Dr. Osita talk about the cool PhD syndrome. Now, among the youth also, there are youths that are pulling each other's down. There are youths that get jealous over some other youth's progress. So all this has to stop if we have to move on. And it can be stopped. Yes, it can be. Yes, we can do a lot. Yes, we can turn around our continent. Africa is waiting for us. Africa needs young people that are ready to work, young people that are dynamic-minded, and young people that can do more than what has been done. And there is so much more to be done. So on this note, I want to thank once again the organizers of the Youth, Youth and United Nations Day of the Youth celebration. I want to thank the organizers of this Youth Together global event. It's so beautiful to be here. It's an honor. And we hope to have more of this program as the year go by. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Mr. McGodwin in Iwinia Jua. Thank you so much. I just would like to, ladies and gentlemen, to remind ourselves of the theme of this day. I can see the comments and I would like to acknowledge them. So it may just be my little way of reminding each other. The youth is here. The Youth Gathered has already launched about 10 of the chapters in the continent just alone. So you are going to be hearing from the youth. But however, our theme is actually to the integration of both. It is intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages. The theme is engaging youth through the generations, implications for sustainable Africa. So the adults that you are hearing from are the adults that are our mentors, our coaches, because as we have already said, we are walking the talk around the theme. And at Youth Gather, we have both our mentors and our coaches, and then also we do have the youth, which you are going to be hearing from them. Thank you so much. Let us carry on, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful program that we are having. Exciting things that are still in store. However, though, hold on to your chair and do not lose your position. Fashioning youth through engagement and empowerment models for the decade of action. It is Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez, President, Miss CARICOM Foundation, International Visionary Building, Back Better. Miss Sanchez, I'm glad to say that I was in your country just about 2 weeks ago in Guyana. So I think I have heard a lot about you as soon as I saw you on the program. I went on to say, how did I not meet you? I may have met you, maybe we didn't just shake hands, but it is indeed a pleasure to welcome you on stage. Take the mic, Madam. Thank you so much.
I hope you had a wonderful time and had some of that lovely food in Guyana. I hope we can chat about it later. Greetings all, protocol, observing all protocol and observance on this United Nations Day of the Youth celebration. Welcome. Hello, my youths. How are you this morning? This forum was set up specially for you, to engage you, to empower you, to promote you, and encourage you as we build back better our world. As we embark on the plan of action for people, planet, and partnership, striving to accomplish the 2030 agenda, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, it is important that all stakeholders act in collaboration to resolve and free the human race from the tyranny of poverty and heal and secure our planet. Necessary tools in accomplishing these goals are the 4 E's: empowerment, exchange, education, entrepreneurship. Africa has the youngest generation, our youth. That's what you are. In order for us to develop the pillars of inequality, sustainability, productivity, and participation, You, the youths, must be fully engaged to translate the integrity and indivisible vision of sustainable development as it relates to the SDG, the Decade of Action, and the 2030 Agenda. The biggest challenges are public health, poverty, gender issue, climate change, and inequality. Our generational gap between the elder and the youth. To accomplish these goals, we need to multi-level governance approach beyond traditional scope, connection between various levels of international, national, and local region. We, the people, must be fully engaged. Public, private, social actors must be fully engaged. You, the youths, must be fully engaged. We must have a continuous interaction, resource, skill, knowledge, and initiative on all levels and all sectors of society, especially in the local level. Being a region with the youngest generation gap, also identify the oldest generation gap. Between generation as the elders are being left behind, it is essential that we have full impact of communication between the gender gap. Society as a whole are stronger and able to deal with inequalities, exclusion, power, and balance when it addresses these issues at the local level. This helps us to realize multi-dimensional vulnerabilities, economical, social, environmental issues among institutions and citizens. Example, technology existence of technology, the use of technology, and the lack of technology and technology skills and instruments in rural areas, as Africa is known for traditional and rural communities. These communities are being left behind. It is up to us, especially the youth, to form the conduit between this gap. Society must address inequalities from the exclusion of power, balance, and vulnerability, as these are the most immediate threat to the people at a local level. Recently, recovery from COVID-19, all communities are focusing on building back better. Technology is the instrument that is dominantly used to make this connection in sharing information and establishing project programs and protocol. Lots of communities are being left behind due to the lack of knowledge, education, information, skills that are needed to communicate on a technological level. This is your opportunity, youths, to integrate while promoting the 5 Ps in building back better your communities. Youths, you must be fully engaged on an educational level, a social level, a cultural level, and a spiritual level. Youths, you must be fully engaged in the commitment of building back better your own lives, which will have a domino effect on your home, your communities, your country, and the larger picture, the universe. Youths, it must start with you. You must be fully engaged. Education is the key that is necessary for programs such as this one to fashion you to accomplishing by engagement and empowerment models for the decade of action. The future depends on you, youths. In order to have a sustainable Africa, the youths must be fully engaged. Intergenerational solidarity is needed now to create a world for all generations. Youth Together Global is a program specifically designed to help you accomplish this goal. Use it well. Miss CARICOM International Foundation are setting example in countries such as Gambia with foot on the ground as we engage, educate, and empower the rural communities, the elders, and the youth. Our programs are based on educational training, cultural interaction, and social success. We hope to continue our commitment to the people of Africa. I hope this program is a stepping stone in accomplishing this goal. Youths, be engaged, be encouraged, be empowered, and educate yourself to the changing and the altering of the gap between generations. I thank you and I yield.
Great. Youth, take up this opportunity. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez, for such a wonderful presentation. Yes, this is the stepping stone. Yes, this is the opportunity. We have already heard our chairman about the progress that has been made within the past 2 years. So you can imagine, by the time we are celebrating the 5th year, we will be so far. With the help and collaboration of ambassadors like yourselves, we know that the future is now here and we can only win together. We only win. Thank you so much. Thank you greatly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call upon our young people. Shall we all clap here?
Princess, did you skip up Bishop Stephen? Is he on? He's on the line. I didn't hear him speak.
The registration has started out. Somebody is asking. No, it's still coming. They're probably still coming because I haven't called him. I haven't seen him on the program.
He is before the youth. Yes. Dr. Prince Oster, where are you?
Sufyan Christian. And Christian.
No. I'm talking about
the Dr. Bishop from Mukono is before the youth.
Yes.
Maybe you are using our working documents, Shepi.
So let him speak now. Let him speak now. He's on
the bishop before the youth.
All right, we will let the bishop speak. On the program that I have, I don't see him. Probably I have maybe not the updated one, but apologies on that one. Bishop Stephen.
Yeah, Bishop Stephen is called to fostering intergenerational solidarity between generations in Africa, the role of youth. His message is followed by the youth presentation. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bishop, you are welcome. You have the floor.
Are you muted, Bishop?
He just came in now. I can't find him.
He is unmuted. However, it looks like the volume is very low.
Okay.
Okay. You might have to remove your. Okay, you are using the device. Go ahead. You're using your handheld device.
Check your sound. We are not hearing you.
Yeah, his connectivity is very low too.
How about there?
Okay, brilliant. Brilliant.
That's better?
Yes,
much
yes,
better.
Sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I bring greetings from Uganda. I'm Bishop Stephen Joseph Sempala. I oversee a district. And I'm so excited to be here. Youth gather, I salute you. I salute all the panelists, the organizers. I salute you. Thank you for the great work. Personally, I will be brief because we have to catch up with the youth. We want to hear them. Personally, I have the passion for the youth. I've been working with the youth since I was a youth, and still I am a youth. I love energy they have, the skill, that the inbuilt, which somehow we do miss out as we leave that age of being youthful. If we are to talk about solidarity between the generations, intergenerations, working with the youth, more so in Africa, what is on my heart and where I see that we can really tap into the majority of the African youth is to have a principle called give and take. Give and take basically means that we get involved in the lives of the youth. We walk the talk with them. We get them, have their hands on. So as we are moving, as we are nurturing them, they have got something they have to share with us. And that is so important. Listening and moving alongside them. Because we are in a global village. Since we are in a global village, we need also to appreciate that the young and old have something in common. There is that listening bit, the taking, and there is that giving, that is mentoring, showing them the more excellent way of doing things. And I want to appeal to the young generation, the youth, as my former speakers, panelists shared, that there is that need to acknowledge the seniority, not to mean overloading them, but to acknowledge that the older generation, they have got something to pass on to them and they appreciate it. And the older generation to know that there is uniqueness in this newness with the generation we are having of the youth. So we need to have partnership, the collaboration, the exchange of ideas, of which in this IT world we are living in, the youth are doing it better. My students, I am also the proprietor of Prince Joseph Academy, where we are learning from the youth how they develop concepts, how they introduce new ideas, and truly, if we give them a chance and we walk alongside them, we will see a better Africa. Lastly, I request that we have an exchange program. Yes, COVID has been, but now we can come together, bring the youth together, work together, so that there is that exchange of the climate, of the nations, moving them up so that they can feel that they are part of the global village. But if we mentor them in their localities, it will take them a long way to appreciate the global village to which they belong. So I request that we should organize conferences where we can have them meet and work on some factors, some programs. We let them develop and nurture them. We will walk alongside them. In doing so, we will be developing them, teaching them, and walking the talk with them. That is my request to this noble platform. Let us have them move across borders and see the wonderful world God created for humanity, so that they can develop a sense of that they belong to others. They are there to see that the rest of humanity enjoy the beauty of where they are coming from. The Lord bless you. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Bishop Stephen Sampala from Uganda. Thank you so much. Allow me to say Yalamanoi. That's the letter that I have learned from my fellow Ugandans. So thank you so much. Yalamanoi. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me there, my prince. Is there anyone that I'm leaving behind before we go on to hand over to our youth? Dr. Sita?
Yes, Madam Chancellor, I've been chatting with you. Professor Carl has been in this room. He didn't receive his email. So he's there waiting for upgrade. We'll just go ahead, maybe after the youth, then we'll take him for 5-10 minutes.
Okay,
go ahead, Madam.
That is Dr. Okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing
you
up now.
much.
Let him come up now, Professor Carl. I just promoted you.
Okay.
Right.
Can you have your 5 minutes presentation, please?
Yes, we'll be hearing about global development and aging, youth and the generations from Professor Carl Oshodi, who is a PhD, GCEO faculty head at Chris Summit Group. Thank you so much, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. So sorry, I'm still in the farm because beyond the fact that one is primarily focused in celebrating the youth today, we also understand that food security is pivotal in accelerating development and carrying the youth along in terms of sustainable development on the continent. First, as of this platform, I want to say I am proud of what you are doing, at least reaching out to young persons across the world. As a former youth leader, National Youth Council level at the African Youth in Policy Development, I've been involved in the critical empowerment. It boils down on all the ray of hope. Young people can harness to power for what we believe in. At the Africa is the future of Africa, and that if Africa must leapfrog, from into 3.0 and 4.0, where machine and man has to augment. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, but your voice is on and off.
Yeah, it's fluctuating. But please go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good. So I believe very strongly through the African Industrialization Group that youth and women are the focal instrument that Africa needs in terms of their capacity to drive economic prosperity. How do we do that? Whether the industry, the academia, the government, the civil society, and the private sector must put effort together to prioritize the intelligence this skills of young people, sustainability for the continent's industrialization. We are referring to how corporate level, at government level, at policy level, at the academic level, at all spectra can really synchronize and create synergies that we bring in talents together. This talent is converting aspirations, converting ideation. Young persons are filled with ideas. Young people have the capacity to drive, but they also need to be coordinated. They need to be trained. They need to be supported. They need to be empowered by government itself. Now, government cannot do everything. Government does not have the responsibility to actually create jobs, but government can create the enabling environment, can create the policy trust, can create that synergy between the government and the private sector that will gulp the unemployed demographics among the young persons, that we also reach out to the academia, that will also have the platform to train in terms of skills development, in terms of TVET, in terms of accelerating the needed intellectual capacity, the needed connect between the industry and the gown. You know, the academia also have that responsibility. The government can also tie with the private sector, because the private sector already developed a kind of a system, an ecosystem, where from the small, medium, and large scale, they can create a kind of result-oriented solutions that can drive the economy. Are you going to talk about result solution in terms of the area of practical implementation of the skills? Are you talking about policies that will bring in young persons into an arena of job providers? They can create job and create work for themselves. Are you looking at value chain development? Are you looking at technology transformation, digital transformation? If we, the government, can create this synergy between these, the academia, the industry, the private sector, we will see a bulge of job creators being born. So the priority at this moment is to see how we can get in more young persons at the country level, at the local level, at the regional level, even at the continent-wide level, to create a bed of synergy, a bed of partnership, a bed of connectivity to first prioritize. First, at least we have innovations coming on the continent. Let us deploy this innovation using youth as drivers to promote Made in Africa brand. Now, when we create this Made in African brand, we cannot begin to consume what we produce, and we cannot also begin to accelerate and demonstrate that mindset of consumption of African products if we have prioritized Made in Africa. And young persons, particularly women. When we do that, we will now see that government, apart from creating the enabling environment and the policy, the private sector can now have an enabling environment where they can operate, where they can create a lot of synergy, a lot of innovations, a lot of technology. This technology are going to be primarily driven by SMEs and startups. And these SMEs and startups, when they have the infrastructure that is needed to support them to begin to prioritize and begin to develop and begin to create a market where at least range in China fabrics, we can have young persons who on the continent are going to even start small, are going to through small, they cannot create a cluster of ecosystem of fashion value chain. This fashion value chain can create a market. That market will have a bar in Nigeria. Nigeria, we have a lot of factors, you have a lot of markets, that this market cannot begin to gulp in more interest in made in African goods. So young persons, need to be synchronized in the African industrialization mantra, because that is the only way that this mantra can begin to bring in more young persons into the bed of creativity and productivity. And without that, it is not about speaking and inspiring them. Young persons have heard a lot of inspirations before. In my time, we heard about inspiration. We said the youth are the future of tomorrow. No, we have to begin to tell them that they are partners of today, of the present. And even though they are going to be the future of tomorrow, as partners of the present, they also share in the burden, they share in the calibration of the movement of production, the movement of development, and the movement of government, good governance, that we be ensured in the present into the future, where they will now begin to learn lessons that they can use to drive the leadership of tomorrow. So for me, I believe that African industrialization is a fulcrum to retilt and to regalvanize the young persons to be part of the critical stakeholders in the development of Africa. And these critical stakeholders, we need to teach them how to produce. We need to teach them productivity. We need to teach them governance. We need to teach them the politics of the market of productivity, where they now begin to add value to their brand. We now begin to also create a brand identity for them. And this brand identity is made in Africa. So when you have this made in Africa mindset, you see, even though they are going to be starting small, and they get the support, the infrastructure, the critical infrastructure, the quality infrastructure, if we put them in line and in synchrony of the bedrock of productivity of Africa, and industrialization becomes their mindset, you see that young persons become the leaders of today and the drivers of tomorrow. I think that's my opinion. Thank you very much.
Professor, you have nailed it. You have nailed it. If it wasn't of the said program, I think we would be going home now, taking exactly what you have said, even with all other speakers that have, but you just went straight on and you said, it's no longer time for speaking, it's time for action. It's time for practicalities, which we all agree. And thank you for that presentation. Thank you for shaking us so passionately as well. Thank you so much. Right now we will go ahead, and I see my director of programs, Amaka Aguluwe, is already standing by. I'm going to call your team so that our Dr. Ada can spotlight them and bring them on. Let us see who is there. I can see Ino Ibas is here. So we have Tobias Naikuri from Kenya. These are Youth Gather Global African Voices. This is our global country liaisons. So to the one who was saying, how come the youth have not spoken? Now we are going to be hearing from these youth. So we have Tobias Naikuri from Kenya. We have Ino Ibas from United Kingdom. We have Simeon Peters from Nigeria. We have Cornelius Chinwani from Kenya. We have Al-Hassan Karoma from Sierra Leone. We have Deng Daniel Ngo Curl from South Sudan. We have Pauline Charipanyanga from Zimbabwe. We have Godwin Mwinga from Zambia. We have Tembisile Mahua from South Africa. We have Namara Luanza from Tanzania. Can we see them? Let them be spotlighted. And our anchor is going to be the Youth Gather Program Director, how do we say? Director of Programs, Miss Amaka Aguluwe. Please take over, my sister.
Thank you so much, Princess Shepi, for that wonderful introduction. I am so happy to be here and blessed to be a part of this wonderful program. I want to make sure that we use the time wisely, so I'll go
we
ahead
have the youths on camera so that we can spot them out. Please, this is Eno Ibas. Can you change and put on your camera? Good. Yes. Who else? I can see South Africa. I can see
Kamara is here, Tanzania.
Where is Kamara? I can't see her on
somewhere.
where is she?
I just saw her now. She's somewhere.
Can you put on yourself?
If we go out of this, let me see if I can get the gallery. Okay, gallery is here. Okay.
Can you see? Where is it? Where are they? Can they?
Simon Peters is here. Simeon Peters is here.
Okay.
He's the
For
one
the
in
for the
Dutch.
sake of time, I believe we may have to do this part on the back end of making sure everyone is here. And in the meantime, let me go ahead and introduce why we are bringing up these youth today. Okay, just for the sake of time. So I am a mental health counselor here.
Where is
in New
Lucifer
York.
from Gambia? Go ahead. Give me time. Give time a little bit, Amaka. We need to bring them out. Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Lucifer was here too. You know, he was in a car, but I can't find him now.
And I can't see the girl from Tanzania anymore.
Have you seen Simeon Peters?
Simeon is out, spotted
black
out.
suit
Yes.
and black shirt. Okay,
Out
good.
already.
Okay.
It's out already.
Let me see. What happened to Namara? She was just here with her phone. Okay, I saw Yusufa too in a car, but he's not here now. Yusufa from the Gambia, Namara from Tanzania.
Okay, since you have two for now, so
yes,
Amaka, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So, as I was saying, I am a mental health professional here in New York City. So, generally, when I speak to the youth, when I think of the youth, I think about their mental health. I think about how they process all the information that we give them, all the expectations we put upon them. And part of the youth experience does very much include how they feel about themselves, how they engage with the world. And this is all mental health related. So oftentimes young people do not get clear instructions on how to manage their own depression or anxiety or symptoms of just not feeling capable. We get the messages or instructions from school systems, and family systems that we must just persist and keep moving forward, but not necessarily exactly how do we persist? How do we move forward? What happens when something does not go our way or there is struggles in our households? How do we move forward? So this is just a statistic, half of all mental health issues actually begin at the age of 14. That is a very big realization to take note of, because what that means is it becomes exponentially important to focus on mental health, especially in the young people. So much of depression and anxiety have come from things like increased stress, fear, anxiety, parental depression, family conflict, loss of supportive relationships. Some people don't have people in their lives to support them, to speak positively to them. Also loss of community, especially the past few years. A lot of people have been feeling isolated, feeling very much disconnected from their peers, disconnected from other people. And it's not just the youth experiencing this, it's adults as well. So this reminds us that the experiences of our mental health that we have in our youth typically transition to adulthood if not addressed. So today, what are we going to focus on with our youth? We are actually going to give them an opportunity to discuss how they empower their own mental health, how they visualize their mental health, and also what they consider to be mental health. So these are the questions that our panelists today will be answering. So just look out for the answers to these questions. The first question is, how do you define mental health? The second is, what do you think the hardest part about being a youth today is? And the third question, how would you show concern if you notice that someone you care about is struggling with depression or another mental health issue? The fourth question, what are some healthy ways that you express your feelings? And the final question, What activities do you do outside of work or school that make you feel good? And all of these things contribute to a positive sense of self, a positive mental health, and a positive perspective, which gives you the internal power to move forward and carry out the tasks that we expect them to do. So now I'm going to go ahead and call the first speaker to answer these questions that were just presented. First, we have Tobias Naruki from Kenya. Tobias, if you can please give your brief answers to the questions.
What could the people on this
Tobias is
content
not
out?
here.
Okay, so Tobias is not here. So
Madam Chancellor,
next I have
Namara is
Eno.
back. If you can spotlight her, please.
Okay. So next we have Eno Ibas. And panelists, if you would like for me to repeat the questions for you, please let me know. So Eno, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, or morning, depending on where you're located. Thank you, Madam Moderator, and thank you to all the panelists who are here today joining you together for us to discuss today on the International Youth Day commemorated by the United Nations. First of all, I would like to say thank the panel for discussing the concept of mental health, especially in the youth community. I have gone through my own particular understanding on the topic, particularly because me as a person. So the first question, if I'm not mistaken, was what is mental health to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so as someone that's just living, well, still a youth, depending on the demographic of people that you ask, mental health to me is a break in routines. Usually that usually comes about as the, that's usually when the symptom usually show itself for me on some level, and for most people as well. So having a standard routine and then having that change all of a sudden can suddenly cause you to become distracted, can suddenly take away a sense of stability. I think that this is a principle, or this is a principle in life, because the same way it happened to me, the standard of my routine, especially during the COVID period, this past 2 years, that was kind of like a shock to myself and to everybody else who had a routine. So suddenly going from the office to suddenly having to work from home, having to find a space for yourself at home to work in. And this is, of course, one specific way. Different people can experience it in different manners. But I think changing one's routine, not having a sustainable and stable environment can be a heavy influencer on one's mental health. And there are different degrees of this. I like to think of myself as a person of action. So as soon as I sense that, I like to find ways to solve the problem, if that makes sense. Why is this happening? What are the factors that you are going through as an individual? Okay, actually settle down, take a moment and sort of reverse engineer your problems. I'm not happy where I am. Okay, fine, I'm feeling depressed. I'm not, what does this mean? What is my body trying to tell me? I'm not happy where I am. For me, for example, one of the ways in which I escaped this sense of mental health was because I did not like working from home. I took myself out. Even though I could not go to the office, I changed my environment. That helps you restart the process again. Okay, I've moved out of where I previously was. How is my work getting better? Am I becoming more efficient? Always asking yourself questions. It's how your mind is meant to, it's how God designed our minds, I believe. We're supposed to constantly be looking for ways to make ourselves better. And that also comes back to ourselves. I think that this is necessary to teach in the education sphere. always being self-aware of yourself, being self-aware as a whole. Now, there are other holistic treatments for it. I simply gave the one that is more, that I have the most experience with, especially coming from, being career driven as well, for anybody who is about their work, for anybody who is about trying to better themselves, not just financially, but societally, like trying to communicate with people. If you want to have a better set of relationships, better managed relationships, both at work and both at home. And it is very important to think about and concern yourself with with how you are experiencing life first. Going forward, there are many other factors that I would have loved to go into. How sports, especially, is also another sort of another doorway to relaxing oneself. Exercising has been shown to provide. Exercising has been shown to provide, an increase in dopamine and other happy enzymes in the body. It is necessary. That as well can be a routine. Playing sports as well can be a routine, so that can further help you to provide a better sense of self, good education, understanding what it is that can be utilized in the real world. Your environment and the world around you is also important, as well as, and all these things culminate to sort of give you a full understanding of your reality, of your well-being. And it goes to all genders as well. These are sensations that we as human beings, all experience. Trying to understand oneself and then getting the proper education for it, the education that will make you productive, the education that you consider best for yourself, and getting a mentor as well, because nobody, and this has to do with everybody joining in. It's a collaborative effort from the United Nations mission to carry everyone forward. And carrying everyone forward or leaving nobody behind is as complete, or it is as what's this word? It is as tolerant a word as it gets. Having to understand other people, having to understand, bringing other people in. That is a global task. That is a task that requires everybody to partake in. But then going back to my sense of mentors, people that are older than you, they have experienced things in life. They have experienced certain situations that you as a youth might not have experienced. So discussing with them, and every generation has their zeitgeist, understanding that this is our own period, but taking the principles of what you've learned from a mentor or somebody that is older than you to teach you something new, or to teach you something that is new to you. And also you yourself as a youth might be able to teach your mentor, the person that is older than you, your elder as well. Learning is a constant human activity, and it has no age restrictions, it has no gender restrictions. It has
So let me stop you there. We're going off a bit on a tangent, but you've answered the question very well. So thank you so much. You've made a lot of great points, right? Using a mentor, having sports, being able to kind of get out of that mindset. And you spoke to us about what you do to support your own mental health. I didn't so much hear about what you would do to help someone else, but I can hear in your speech that you've offered a lot of guidance. So thank you so much, for your response. I very much appreciate it. Okay, so let's move forward to Simeon Peters next. And Simeon, you've asked that I repeat these questions, so let me just go through really quickly. The first question we have, of course, is how do you define mental health? The second question, what do you think is the hardest part about being a youth today? And the third question becomes, how would you show concern if you notice someone you care about is struggling with their own mental health? So let's start there, and you can answer those three first, then I will move forward to the next two.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Amara. I'm so excited to be here. It's such a great honor. Happy International Youth Day. I'm so honored to be a part of this platform, Youth Gather. So because of time, let me just quickly go straight to the point. How do I define mental health? Okay, mental health, like I said, encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It determines how an individual handles stress, interpersonal relationships, and decision-making. And so basically, mental health is an individual's capacity to feel, think, and act in ways to achieve a better quality of life, as well as responding to respecting the personal, social, and cultural boundaries. So it's so important that we understand or have a grasp of what this definition is if we really want to have an idea of what mental health is. Also, because of time, I would have to just go straight to your next question. What is the hardest part about being a youth today? Currently, we have over 70% of African population under the age of 30, which means that Africa as a continent has a couple of youth folks. And this is so important because there's a lot of pressure in Africa now in regards to the youths, a lot of pressure. And this stems from several factors: bad governance, miseducation, and several other things. Now, the hardest part of being a youth today is coming into the reality of these various factors. I would also call them inhibiting factors, basically. They are always there, and they almost look like we have a hill to climb, a lot of challenges. You wouldn't find this in several developed nations. So it's almost like as though it costs a lot to be young or youth in Africa. So many surmounting pressures you have to overcome. So we have miseducation, inequality, peer pressure, low self-esteem, relationship, non-stop exposure to knowledge and information. And these all requires that now we have to be under pressure to be responsible, because the government expects us to be better regardless of if the society is not playing its role to ensure that a healthy environment is created to make sure that we function properly. So there's this pressure to be responsible regardless of these inhibiting factors. The third question is that how would we show, or how would I show concern if I notice someone I care about is struggling with depression or other mental issues? This is so practical for me because currently every single day I literally am exposed to a lot of youth who are going through depression, going through frustration, and even youth who are committing suicide. Over here in Nigeria, where I am, there we always have multiple cases of youths always committing suicide. Young people, who would go ahead to write down a note and say a few things. Why? Because of this severe pressure. Now, what I'll do is very simple. I know, like I said, I'm not a professional in this field, but in my only two ways, I've been able to study a few things about how to help people who have mental health issues or who have depressions or frustrations. And I've been able to apply one of those things, and it's not really effective, but yes, it has helped people to get out of depression, out of frustration, or even to the point of committing suicide. Now, one of the things I get to do is first, I would create a positive environment that enables communication, because mostly we have a lot of people who have mental issues who resolve to just being with themselves. They don't communicate, they don't reach out to people, and so it's difficult to know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're going through. So first, I would create an environment to enable communication. I would achieve this by indulging them in the mood-elevating conversations, enabling them to feel comfortable and prevent further withdrawal, because it's usually what happens. We don't always observe when people are withdrawing probably because of different issues they're going through. I would also create a physical presence. I would literally be physically there for the person to ensure that this person knows that they have someone who literally cares and who's looking out for them in their space. And I will ask questions calmly and validate the person's feelings. This would help the person know that I understand what they're going through. I get to affiliate with their pain. I would also show the emotional expression of being concerned. And this is, I'm not trying to fake it, because genuinely from my heart, I'm trying to reach out to this person. So this is not just about faking it. The emotional expression coming from me is to let this person know that I care about you. The environment might not care about you, your family, because sometimes people just want you to just be successful, not looking out or caring if they don't want to even know how you achieve success. So there's a lot of pressure. So I would have to literally show that I care about this person. And I believe that this treatment is therapeutic in a way. But then secondly, I would suggest treatment immediately. Mental health issue is not something we will play down on. I did a couple of research. Now, most youths, as much as 30 to 40% go through all sort of mental issues. Now in Africa, we only observe a raving madman as someone who is having a mental issue, but that's not the case. All sort of people have different sort of mental issues, and it's a critical issue, and we don't have a lot of facilities to take care of these various aspects of mental issues. So what I'll do, the second thing I would do is to quickly recommend a treatment for this person. And then of course, I would always also be there to ensure that I guide this person in taking him or her through several steps to making sure that they become better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amazing. So thank you for answering those first three questions. That was such a powerful response and very succinct. So the last two questions then we have are, what are some of the healthy ways that you express your feelings? And last but not least, what activities do you do outside of work or school that make you feel good?
Okay, thank you very much, Amara. Basically, some healthy ways that I express my feelings are, I love communicating. I love communicating because I myself have had my own share, I've had my own fair share of mental issues. And I found out that basically lack of communication has always been a trigger, even if we ignore it. So naturally, I'm an introverted person, but I've learned to communicate. I've learned to be outspoken, to be expressive. So communication is one thing I've learned to do. Currently, it's a healthy way I use and express my feelings, but not just to anybody. I mean, you have to be reasonable. You have to be a responsible person for me to communicate with you, because the things I'm saying to you are things that are very important to me. Okay, so taking a walk also is something I do, basically, to help me express my feelings. Listening to music and then hanging out with friends is also what I do. Now to your last question, what activities do I do outside of work or school? Well, I love reading outside of work. And when I talk about reading, I read books on personal development. I read books that help me to increase and develop my capacity. I read books that enables me. For instance, in Africa, Nigeria here, we are miseducated. Most of the system of education we have here does not prepare people for future. So now you have to outsource yourself. You have to go out of your way to educate yourself to be well-informed in order to be able to make well-informed decisions about life. So these are mostly what I do in my spare times to be able to help me to become prepared for the future. I also watch movies. I also watch movies that help expand my mind. I also watch movies. I mean, for now, I've not been able to leave the borders of Africa. So most of what I do, I travel in the movies. I watch very important movies that help expand my mind, my initiative, and also give me ideas to help me better solve problems in my environment. And then, of course, swimming and the rest of it. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you as well. You've dropped a lot of great pointers that I'm sure the people listening can really take away from. And, you know, between you and Eno, the amount of things that you do for yourselves is very important to hear, right? Because we don't always share these things. We don't always share what supports us with our mental health. So I think it's important for others your age as well to hear that you support yourself in these ways. So amazing. Thank you so much. And it looks like we have
Thank
someone
you.
who has
Thank you.
joined as well.
Namara is here now. Namara is here.
And we have Amara as well. Okay,
Yes,
so
and then
let's
Yusufa after Namara.
okay, so let's go on to Amara to respond to these questions as well. Amara, I don't see you
I'm
on
here.
the chat. Are you with us? Okay,
Yeah.
She's
perfect.
on the pink,
So
yeah.
would you like for me to repeat the questions, or do you have them handy? Repeat them. Okay,
Could
so
you repeat the question?
of course. The first
Yeah.
question we have is, how do you define your mental health?
First of all, greetings everyone, distinguished guests and everyone. Thank you for this opportunity for me to speak to everyone and answer these questions. So to answer the first question, I would define mental health as a state of emotional and psychological well-being, which may be good or bad. It is affected by lots of things like the environment and one's personal experiences and things of that sort. So to simply define mental health, that's what I define it as.
Amazing, thank you. The next question, what do you think is the hardest part about being a youth today?
I think the hardest part about being a youth today is just the concept of growing up, because when you are youth, you are in between the stage of being a child and being an adult. So you're learning new things, and it's really hard to learn those things and to be like effective as a person, because you're so new to those things and you're learning them. So I think the hardest part of it is the change and learning new things and experiencing new things. That's hard. That's the hardest part about being a youth. And throughout those new experiences, there are things like lack of supportive environments that can also be a challenge as youth, and lack of self-confidence, because a lot of people compare themselves now with the presence of social media. Everyone's showing their lives and everything. So people tend to compare their lives to other people's lives, and then this comparison thing kills people's self-esteem and makes it hard for them to be, effective in their lives and things like that.
Thank you. Absolutely. And number 3, we have, how would you show concern if someone you cared about is struggling with depression or another mental health issue?
I personally think when it comes to mental health, not everyone is willing to talk about it, and not everyone is willing to tell you that they're going through depression or that they're not feeling well. So I think that the best approach that you can take in this situation is just being mindful of the people around you. When you notice a change in people's behaviors, you be a good person and ask them what's going on. Just lend a helping hand. Be there to listen to people, to listen to what they have to say, because the more good you give out to the world, the more good you receive. So just being there for other people and listening to what they have to say and helping them, and actually willing to listen. And sometimes you may not have solutions to their problems, but people just want someone to hear what they're going through. So it's good to be there for other people and give them a chance to express themselves so that they can further understand and connect with other human beings so they don't feel alone.
Very well said. Similar to Simeon, in that lending an ear is very helpful, and that in and of itself can really just make a person feel supported. So
Yeah.
good point. And number 4, we have, what are some of the healthy ways that you express your feelings?
For me personally, I enjoy writing. I write poetry and I write what I feel so that I'm able to understand it. Because I feel like if you keep everything in your mind, it's difficult for you to understand it because your mind is full of different things. So I deal with my mental health through writing down the things that I'm feeling and trying to understand them, talking to people that I trust, like my friends or my family, about stuff that I'm going through. And I understand that not everyone has a supportive system like that, but one key thing that helped me personally with my mental health is being friends with myself, like learning to understand myself and to develop a relationship with myself where I can try and understand more about myself so that I can be the best version of myself.
What a powerful perspective. Be friends with yourself, right? Get to know yourself well enough that you can support yourself internally. Excellent. Okay, thank you for that response. And last but not least, what activities do you do outside of work or school that make you feel good? I know you mentioned writing. Is there anything else?
So I like writing, and with writing, which kind of goes in as a part and parcel of reading as well. So I read as well. I read and I write, and I like seeing the world from different people's perspectives. And so reading helps you be able to have a person's mind on a piece of paper. And that's just beautiful because you get to read and you get to learn new things and to understand different perspectives in life. Other things I like to do outside of school is to also just spend time with my family. I have like baby cousins, so I also like children because they're young, and watching other people grow it's really nice because you see yourself in children and you see how you can help other people grow, and you give people the things that you wish you could have as a child.
Amazing. Very, very well said. What a wonderful perspective to glean on. I'm sure from everything you said, there is someone in this panel, there are people in this panel looking to say, I'm taking note as well. I think I should try that. So great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well.
Of course. Okay. And last but not least, we have sorry if I mispronounce your name. I have
Yusufa Balde. Yes, Yusufa Balde wasn't part of your original team.
Yes,
we just brought him in for the Miss CARICOM program. Yes, so he will speak to us from his own perspective from the Gambia.
I see. Okay, Yusuf, you have the floor.
Unmute, Yusufa. Unmute. Unmute, please. Yusufa Balde. Unmute your microphone. We have to hear you.
He's having issues to unmute, so.
Okay, so I think we can let it go.
Yes.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay now.
Okay, he's okay. Good. Very good.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening to everyone. My name is Yusufa P. Banle. I'm from the Gambia, West Africa. Sorry for the interruption because right now I am traveling from Dakar to Banjul. I'm going back to Banjul. But then it is a pleasure to be part of this important meeting. First of all, I would like to also thank Dr. Monica Sanchez. Also like to thank Dr. Ada for putting me in this part of a platform. Actually, Gambia, is the smiling coast of Africa, and then it's a small country, as you all know. And then here, I am representing Miss Curriculum International Foundation. With the aid of Monica Sanchez. Monica, thank you very much. I'm glad that you mentioned about the Building Back Better, which definitely we have created a pilot project during the COVID-19, whereby we were able to at least help more than 200 communities in the rural areas. And then we were also able to distribute more than 10,000 loaf of bread to communities in the rural areas. So on behalf of my community, or those communities from the rural area, I would like to thank you, Ms. Curriculum, and I would like to thank Dr. Monica Sanchez. Yeah, today's platform is very important. I think it is timely that the youths of Africa, we have to gather to be as one, and then we need to network, because there is a lot to be done in Africa, especially when it comes to youth. Right now, I am trying to work on at least a small pilot project, the entrepreneurship, because I believe that in Africa, there are so many youths whom they are very homeless. they don't have money or they don't finish their education. So in doing that, I am trying to work on an entrepreneurship pilot project whereby I'm talking to international companies so that at least we will be giving them some products to be selling, and then they can develop themselves. Because what I understand is that there are so many things that the youths engage themselves, and then it is not good in the community. Is because one, there are lack of education, there are lack of job creation, there are also lack of some social amenities, whereby it can also help them, even when it comes to irregular migration. Like in the Gambia here, it's rampant, it's too much. Like our youths, most of our youths have been traveling through the back way, have lost their life. I am a victim. Most of my families are victims. So because of this reason, I came up with this small pilot project whereby I will create an entrepreneurship platform to help the youths. What I did was, I tried to engage the schools and then the universities to see how best I can bring the youths together. We see how best we can work on this project. But then it is very, very important, and this message goes to African youths. We need to communicate, we need to network, we need to create dialogues, such like this kind of platforms, whereby we have to interrelate ourselves so that at least, there is maybe some connections that if I am having a project, I can also communicate with someone in Uganda. And if somebody in South Africa is having a project, can communicate with me here in the Gambia. So in doing that, we will see that we will achieve a greater goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that offering. I do want to wrap up this section as well and pass on to Prince Osita to continue our programming. Thank you all to the youth that have spoke today in this program about their own mental health, about how they engage with the world, engage with themselves. And I thank you as well, Yusufa, for offering this program, this perspective of entrepreneurship. I think it is important that as much as we ask the youth to do, we also hold space for their abilities to do it. So thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the program, and I will pass it forward to Dr. Osita.
Shepi.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our Director of Programs. Thank you so much to the Voices ambassadors, our liaisons, our representatives. So very proud of you. And thank you for coming aboard. And we welcome you, Yusufa Balde. Thank you so much. We hope this is just the beginning, that we can continue this journey. Now we have heard from the very people that we are here for. We are so very proud of you. Amaka, my sister, you have nailed it again. Well, very, very well done. Let's continue talking on this topic. It is so important right at this moment, this season, because many youth are really, not only the young people, as Mary have already said, that all, even adults, and in this theme that is connecting both of us to work together, to work together. It is very important. Your work is critical to our communities. Thank you so much. Thank you. So let us all appreciate, our young people. Let us appreciate our young people, please. Let us appreciate them. Yes, yes,
thank you.
Yes, you see. This was now the crux of this day.
Thank you,
so
Madam.
much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we end this section, the Youth Gather Global is marking their 2-year anniversary. As move, please, someone, can you mute yourself when you are speaking?
Yusufa, please mute your microphone.
Mute your microphone, yes. So in advancing our global agenda with engaging youth to the decade of action, we are strengthening our capacity and our initiatives, and we are building, introducing the partnerships into the initiative of Youth Gather Global. And one of these partnerships that we want to launch in honor of this day, that is the 2022nd International Youth Day and our second year anniversary, is to bring in the African Initiative Model United Nations Education. Now, this is the partnership that Ms. CARICOM International and the Youth Gather Global we utilize to advance the initiatives of getting African youth on board SDG Drive. It is a partnership initiative because of what these two organizations have considered important, that African youth in developing communities of developing nations should not be left out about the agenda of the United Nations. And what do we intend to do here? We tend to get them into getting them on board with the SDG Sustainable Development Goals. We need to get them on board into the United Nations Decade of Action. We need to let them know that with the SDG fast running to an end, we have less than 8 years to go. And yet a lot of youth are still not able to receive the appropriate education, exchange program, entrepreneurship, and enrichment programs with respect to the Sustainable Development Goals. We also need to establish SDG school clubs that will enable us to educate primary school children, middle school children, even colleges about the SDGs. We allow them to begin to read SDG Reading Club and other things that we need to bring up. And that is why that Ms. CARICOM International Foundation and Youth Gather Global has come together to advance this cause in bringing up the youths in developing countries into upgrading stepping them on SDG development action. And we are proud to start this initiative with the Gambia, because the Ms. CARICOM Foundation has already established its organization, of which I am one of the board members in Gambia. And the platform has been set already. And with that initiative, we are now appointing, I'll call on the board chair to appoint Yusufa Balde as the country coordinator for the African Initiative Model United Nations SDG Education. And the agenda is that we should get African youth, especially students, children, and youth, to get on board the African Youth SDG Drive. The African Union is driving the 2063 agenda. The United Nations is driving the 2030 agenda. And these two agendas are our own priorities in driving the African Initiative Model United Nations School Education. So without wasting more time, and I bring it on board so that our father for this youth gather will be able to launch this initiative for us when he's speaking. And then when it is launched, the board chair, Prince Osita, will now commission Yusufa Balde into this action. So I want to encourage the youth that the Youth Gather Global is not sleeping. We are doing everything humanly possible to get you engaged as well as empowered to face their future and the world of work. And we are now expanding, building our capacity through partnership. We all know that one of the strongest agenda of the SDGs is partnership. We are building this partnership and starting it with the country of the Gambia with Ms. CARICOM Foundation International, with Ms. CARICOM International Foundation. So I'll leave you now, and I thank you for sharing your passion. And I believe that the youth out there who have listened to you both on media and here online will be able to begin to rethink about their intergenerational solidarity agenda. Because one thing is to attend the listening to a conference. Another thing is, where do you take yourself from there? And we are encouraging you based on what the youths have shared. Thank God for one of the attendees that cried out that the youth are not speaking. Now you have heard from the youth. So we encourage the youth. This is your day. Don't just take this day as a day to just sit and gallivant without thinking. This is time for you to rethink about your intergenerational solidarity. How do you move your, develop your creativity, develop your thought processes? We have had a lot of things from this presentation, both from our stakeholders, our advisors, and also from the youth. Develop yourself and send us your own thoughts and initiative, especially with the respect. Tell us how you want the African Initiative Model United Nations SDG education. What do you want for us to drive this SDG to the doorstep of all youth? I thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Yes, let us all clap hands and we welcome, congratulations to you, Safa, congratulations to Gambia, and we welcome this new program. I am excited. Even if I have to say, I am excited. Looking forward to this program as it unfolds and looking forward to really being involved as well. Thank you so much. I love the timing of the Youth Gather Global, just as I have just been at the CARICOM as well. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to our Chancellor. Thank you for opening up this opportunity. Thank you for this collaboration. We are walking the talk as Youth Gathered. So thank you so much. Right now, we are going to be hearing from one of our mentors, one of our leaders, one of our governing body, members of our governing body as well. African, let me see, am I on the, yes. African Youth and Leadership Through the Generations. She is Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Diana Kinoli. She's the Director, Learning and Leadership Strategy.
Thank you so much, Princess Shepi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome.
But you are not on camera. We are trying to look, okay.
She's on camera.
I am.
Our
Yes.
director's on camera. Beautiful on camera, always.
Awesome.
Welcome
Thank
home.
you so much, Your Excellencies, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Ada. Thank you so much. Fellow Youth Gather Global director members, our advisor, His Excellency Ambassador Dennis Antoine, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Happy International Youth Day. Happy International Youth Day. What a time, what a year to be alive. Just even considering the big change that we've had with the global pandemic. Many of us and most of us are not taking the fact that we're alive today for granted. I am honored today to join you and talk about African youth and leadership through the generations. Because of the global pandemic, leadership has changed and leadership is changing. Therefore, we have to ask ourselves, what do we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn? And I want to start off with two things. The first thing is invest in yourself, because your talents and every certification that you gain are the grace age that you need in every sphere of influence. They are your grace edge that you need in every sphere of influence. And as we talk about the spheres of influence, I'm going to name 9. They're not limited to 9, they're above 9, but these are the ones that we find in most nations across the world. They're government, education, health, business, faith, arts and culture, sports, family, and media. We have had repeatedly from the other guests how important it is to develop yourself. And by developing yourself, you're investing in yourself, because the things that you're going to learn, you have to look to invest in those things that you're not being taught at your high schools and your universities, and identify what those are over the next 10 years. That is how you stay out of the competition of the masses. So investing in yourself is key. The second thing I want to share with you is that success leaves clues. Jim Quick has a wonderful quote that I hope you will remember. And it says this: if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. So, in considering that success leaves clues, ask yourselves, when it comes to leadership and leading well, who is leading well? Number two, who and what is relevant? Because in this day, leadership has changed so much that what was relevant pre-2020 has become irrelevant post-2020. And so building back better is going to require us to go back to begin to creating a foundation. The third thing is begin to do something different than those around you. Right? Begin to do something different than those around you. In her book, Dare to Lead, Brené Brown defines a leader as someone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes, and who has the courage to develop that potential. We want you to aspire to be great leaders, because you are. Africa has everything that it needs. And we know this because you can look around you and see how the nations in the West and far and beyond are coming in to build in your lands. So you have everything that you need, but can you see it? Can you recognize it? Can you realize it? Because if they're coming, it's because they see something that maybe you don't see. So our African youth are the answers to the prayers of our ancestors through the generations. And as we consider leadership over the next 10 years and towards 2030, there are three mandates of leadership. Number one, see leadership as it is, not worse than it is. See leadership as it is, not worse than it is. Number two, see leadership better than it is, because you can become a better person, a better leader every day. And number three, develop yourself, invest in yourself so that you can shift leadership the way you see it in your sphere of influence. So we now know that we have to build a strong foundation, but in what? The first one is self-leadership, because leading ourselves is still the most difficult thing to do. It is very easy to look at what someone else is doing and pick it apart. But what about if you look at yourself? What is it that you bring? How can you begin to lead? How can you begin to develop yourself so that you are the leader that we need and that we have prayed for? The second thing is in personal growth. How are you growing? And then number three is, how are you serving? So I want to share with you 5 ways on how to plan ahead, even in 2022. So number one is, what are 2 goals you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? I'm keeping it very simple because it is very easy for us to make leadership difficult and complex when it is not. All great leaders today have kept things simple. So number one, what are 2 goals you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? And number 2, be very clear on why you must you must get to do these two things over the next 6 to 12 months. Number 3, part 1 is identify what has kept you from changing in the past. What has kept you from changing in the past? And part 2 of 3 is identify what has kept your nation or your sphere of influence from changing in the past. That's how we begin to move forward. Number 4, identify what needs to change now. What in you needs to change now? What around you needs to change now, and begin to work on that. And then number 5, what are 1 to 2 actions that you can take immediately that will move you ahead? You see, how we rise up to meet our battles is directly linked to the warrior or the leader that we are. How you rise up to meet your battles is directly linked to the warrior or the leader that you are. Because number 1, you are meant for more. Number 2, you can serve more. Number 3, let's begin to replace the how question with the who. Who has already been there? Because success leaves clues. Generations need to begin talking. It's the only way that we're going to move ahead over the next 10 years. Then stop expecting someone else to see your goals and dreams when God gave them to you and not them. And I want to finish with a wonderful quote that I read from President Paul Kagame of the Republic of Rwanda, and this is what he says. We are not shy about playing our part, mainly bearing in mind where we come from, who we are, what we want to be, and that we want to stick to that. Thank you for listening. Happy International Youth Day.
Happy International Youth Day. Happy 2nd anniversary, Youth Gather Global. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Ambassador Dr. Diana Kinoli. Powerful as usual. Thank you so much. We have been, you can see all our heads are down because we've been taking notes, we've been recording, and as you given nuggets to move forward. Now we have no excuse. As to next year, why wouldn't we be in the next level? Thank you so much for giving us the tools, practical tools, simple tools. Great stuff. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be hearing about Building Back Better, Engaging African Youths for Future Generations from His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dennis Antoine. Is he here? The author and chairman Advisory Council Center for SDG. Yes, he is the author.
I'm very ready. Yeah,
right.
He's here and he's very ready. Yeah.
Great. He's the author and chairman of Advisory Council Center for SDG Global Education USA. Sir, the platform is yours. Thank you so much.
Greetings, everyone. You know, when you have had the opportunity to listen to such luminaries, it is hard to figure out where to start. I want to greet the distinguished panelists. I want to greet our distinguished moderator, Princess, and all the other luminaries, particularly our director, our executive director for the Center of SDG Global Education USA, and our chancellor, Youth Gather Global, Dr. Ada Okika, and of course, Prince Osetta, and all the distinguished panelists, ambassadors, and the youths gathered here today to participate in this most exhilarating International Youth Day. Now, Where do I begin? It's difficult because so much has been said that needs to be said. So I ask you to pause and think back. Think back about how it was in 2020 before the height of COVID, when youth gathered, came together. And now think beyond and recognize how much has changed and how fast it's changing in your family, in your community, in your cities, and of course, the countries wherever you are, and our world. Now, since we became confronted by COVID and all the consequences, today it means thinking beyond our current circumstances and thinking big about how much is happening globally and how you, the youths now, the youths gather here today and all those listening wherever they are, how have you contributed? Or better yet, how do you plan to impact your world going forward? Now, consequently, it is critically important to take note that the study of life processes teaches us that history never stops. And it's like a relay, an endless relay. And each of us, as a member of the team, runs a separate leg of the race. And the order in which we finish determines who wins. Now, my focus is on the medley race, that medley relay, because you know, we are all part of an intergenerational team. Some of us are starters, some of us are receivers, and some are passers of the baton. But you must all bear in mind that this relay on the field of life, there are some of us at the starting line and some at the passing zone, and others receiving and anchoring. Now, those of us who have been handed the baton can't look back, but we must be careful to share with care and skillful timing with the knowledge of how far that baton came and the heavy traction resisted so as not to impede the receiver from gaining ground or dropping the baton. Now, the momentum and the lead gained cannot be lost, understanding that each of us in the race have been coached that the handoff in this relay must be flawless as possible when we pass it on. Now, this analogy of life as a relay provides a perspective for each of us, young and not so young, to understand or to imagine our position in this relay, with the realization that our handoff or anchoring skills must be sound so as not to cause the baton to be dropped, bearing in mind that the baton that I speak of is not just a stick or rod that we hand to the next runner, but what is carried in and on that rod are generational and ancestral indicators which identified values, cultural norms, customs with markers of resilience, passion, love for human life and family. Now, today I am confident that youths will not drop the baton, because I know that the safe hands of those who began the race and the courage and skill with which the youths have now begun, even while the track is bumpy and it remains so in the grip of our safe hands at all passing lanes, yet we must remain steady, because passing must remain astonishingly safe to maintain the momentum as each runner begins the next leg of the race. Now, let us remove ourselves from this analogy and metaphor and remember 70 years ago, an earlier generation of world leaders came together to create the United Nations. This took place at a time of war, division. So to build a better world, they passed on an organization based on values of peace, dialogue, intergenerational cooperation, international collaboration, principles which are the foundation of the UN, and they passed it on. But how is it working? Now, remember, 15 years ago, in the new millennium, only 15 years into this new, what I would say, this new generation, heads of state and government came together again at the Sustainable Development Summit to make a global agenda better for transforming our world. And you know what they did? They passed on the SDGs, deciding to work together for all nations and all peoples, giving attention to the neediest first. Therefore, because of the implications for Africa, many questions must be answered. And it is now about mindfulness. So I have a number of questions to be answered. What is your living? Those of us gathered here, what is your living doing for Africa? What is your thinking and talking doing for Africa? What is your walking doing for Africa? What has your work done for Africa? What is your dream doing for Africa? What is your prayer doing for Africa? What is your wealth doing for Africa? What is your knowledge doing for Africa? What is your existence doing for Africa? Now, these questions have been asked. So our contributions to Africa development today will bear fruits that our children's children will reap tomorrow. So think of what you can do for Africa, because Africa has and continue to do so much for the world. Now, the global launch of the International Year of Youth on August 12, 2010. Now, in our drive forward, a bold, ambitious 2030 agenda with transformative vision to free humanity from poverty, hunger, is a matter of urgency. Today, it is considered vital to incorporate reforms in education with information technology more efficiently to promote innovation, to multiply what is done with technology in education, making it more people-focused. In the wake of COVID-19, information communication technology remains critical to close the education gap. Therefore, we need new skills, especially in data management and usage. Now, this future we want relies on reliable partnerships for the greater good. Every country has the primary responsibility for its own development strategy. However, developing countries need additional resources to realize the Sustainable Development Goal. That's why I'm so pleased to hear about the CARICOM word that keeps coming up. We are talking about a diaspora issue. We have a vibrant African diaspora community in the CARICOM region. So today, in addition to cultural and economic globalization, human societies are urged to bring their political entities together. We are talking here about getting to know our counterparts. The youths of Africa must get to know the youths of the Caribbean. They must get to know the youths of America. They must get to know the youths of Asia. They must collaborate. Youth gather concept is global. Now, already various religions of the world and regions of the world have undergone successful unions. We can all agree that there is some benefit to the collective good, which individuals, markets, voluntary organizations, and local governments cannot produce without collective response and collaboration. So this Youth Gather is a movement, is a force. It's a force, and we have to connect. This network must be connected. In closing, so much has been said before I spoke that I am just affirming and saying, wow, Ada, Dr. Chancellor, you have brought us again together. Your energy is one of the answers for what Africa and the African diaspora and Youth Gather Global need. So, as we race to the future, I invite each of you, each youth, each participant to get on board the journey to 2030. And let's all be ambassadors. Let's represent and all be ambassadors for a better world. I thank you.
Great words. Yes.
Your Excellency, commission the initiative.
Yes.
Please commission the
applauding.
initiative.
And it is for me a special privilege. As always, Ada gives me such special privilege, which I don't deserve, but it is for me an honor to wish all success to this brainchild, this initiative, which we today launch. African Initiative Model UN SDG Education. Let us all get on board. Get on board. the African Youth SDG Drive. And today, we are launching again another satellite for change in Africa and our world.
In Africa and the Caribbean.
Africa, the Caribbean, and our diaspora, wherever we connect.
Please, all the youth in the house, can we make noise? Everyone in the house will make noise to this initiative. It's not easy to have an excellency, a UN ambassador, the former assistant president of UN General Assembly 69th section to launch this initiative. Can we just unmute and make noise for and clap for her?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Excellency. You are always a father to this
thank you, thank you.
Global, and we can't do anything without you. You know, sometimes late last month, he called me and said, what do I think of African Initiative? And he lectured me into that, and I begin to think in that dimension. And when I shared it with Dr. Osita, we say it's time that we pick up this initiative. So when we now came up, I brought in Dr. Monica Sanchez. We've been doing a lot together on the youth. Ms. CARICOM Foundation has gone into utilizing fashion to educate the younger ones about empathy, comportment, integrity, and every other thing, interpersonal relations, how they can personal courage, personality profile. The Ms. CARICOM has over 18 years been doing this. And I said, fine, we introduced it in Africa and launched it in Africa. And I said, fine, since Ms. CARICOM is now in Africa, this is time for us to look at the Africa, the diaspora, and the Caribbeans. And that is why we came up with this initiative, African Initiative, Model United Nations SDG Education. And I thank God, and I want to thank you, Your Excellency, as I bring in Dr. Osita to take over and admit Yusufa. And then before that, Ms. Dr. Mo Sanchez will give brief introduction of Yusufa Baude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Osita, please.
Yeah, I thought someone was going to give an introduction. Maybe it's not here. Can we spotlight Yusufa, please?
Dr. Monica Sanchez, can you introduce Yusufa, please? I have to spotlight two of you together.
What a perfect program for Yusufa to be on. Yusufa is Gambian, and he is one of the most active activists, youth activists. There he is. He's one of the most active youth activists in the Gambia. He has many hats, and one of those hats is our director, Gambia director for Ms. CARICOM Foundation. He has been out there. He has foot on the ground. He has been in every aspect of his community development when it comes to youth involvement. He is he's a motivator. He pushes, he gives endless of his time and his efforts. He's always eager to learn more, to help his youths. He gets into every angle of his society when it comes to empowering, improving, engaging. And I am so proud of him. I admire his effort, and his efforts and energy pushes me to be more involved. This is the reason why I got Dr. Ada on board. And this is the reason why we are so supportive. Yusufa is the reason why Ms. CARICOM is so successful. We are a cultural educational foundation, which promotes women and youths. And Yusufa has given us a charge that we are aggressively trying to measure up to. Yusuf, I want to tell you how proud Ms. Karakam Foundation is to support you in all these efforts. And it's a pleasure to bring you on board. And I hope that this new step that you're taking, this new journey that you're taking, will bring much closure to some of the anxiety you have about the youths of Gambia, the youths of Africa and their future. You know, I applaud you and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Monica. And thank you very much, Dr. Ada.
Dr. Yusufa, hold on, please.
Yusufa, please hold on. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. Monica Sanchez. Thank you, my Chancellor. As we imagine a world that is full of teenage leaders who actively contribute to and lead their local communities, as we spread awareness about global issues, and as we hope to create a more conscious personality for diplomatic society, as our goal is rooted in the idea that all teenagers and youth should be exposed to SDG opportunities. And this is exactly what we aim to achieve in the African Initiative Model UN Education. And Youth Gather Global is proud and happy to bring the power of place and admit you, Yusufa Balde, to Youth Gather Global as a focal person in the Gambia, and also as our bridge between Youth Gather Global and Ms. CARICOM International Foundation. Welcome to Youth Gather Global, and God bless you.
Yusufa, just a minute acknowledgement, acceptance. Just 1 minute.
Yes, but you have to unmute.
Unmute
Yusufa,
yourself.
You have to unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone so that we can hear you.
He's traveling and he goes to show his commitment.
I know. That's it. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much, Prince, His Royal Highness. Thank you very much for the offer. Thank you very much, Monica Sanchez, for the acknowledgement. Thank you very much, Dr. Ada, and thank you everybody for this. I am overwhelmed. I am over happy that I am given this opportunity. And like what Monica says, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I'm also a politician, a young politician for that matter. I stood up in my community so that at least I'll be at the parliament. But then with all the good job that Ms. Curriculum is doing in the Gambia, I'll make sure that the same thing will happen. So thank you guys. I definitely accept it wholeheartedly. And then I am very happy. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
can we still have, okay, over to
Yes,
you.
let's get Sheffy to do a summary quickly, and I'll just do a thank you and we close, Madam Chancellor.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is our wrap-up and outcome by Mary Kurek? Mary?
No, Sheffy, please go ahead and take the summary.
All right. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
Didn't know. I would like to just thank everyone who has been here, all the speakers, all our panelists. We are richer than yesterday, richer than a few hours ago. And we know now as we chat forward into the 3rd year of Youth Gather, happy 2nd anniversary and happy International Youth Day. Thank you so much to our mentors, to the council. Thank you to our chairperson, our chancellor, to all our directors. Thank you to the youth that have given the time, that have shown the commitment to working with us. And we don't take this opportunity lightly of us being the ones that are carrying the baton, that are learning from everyone, and also particularly as the world is focusing on Africa. It is our opportunity, it is our season. It reminds me of the words of God to Joshua. So now with all that has been done, all the efforts, let us also, as the people of Africa, take it with warm hands, with both hands, grab this opportunity and run for the betterment of our continent. Let us do better. Let us build better in this post-pandemic era. Thank you to everybody for being with us, for taking time with us. Let us continue celebrating, but much more important, let us keep on keeping on with simplicity and walking the talk. Thank you so much to my chairperson. I will hand over back to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. As we close, we ask God to lead us through the next year, and also ask God to bring us people who work with us through the 4 E's as we deliver the youth of Africa for the decade of action. Thank you. Madam Chancellor.
Oh my God. I thank everyone and happy anniversary to all of us. Hold on a minute. Yes.
This life is but a journey. There's a better home you'll see. While our steps may here each day, we'll help someone find the way.
Lord, we give our hearts to you. Make it yours alone. Will be for you to love and feel, for someone your hand to heal.
There's a hand that longs to be held. There's a heart that longs to be soothed. Who will answer duty's call? Who will strive to do a bit more? I will go to Josephine. I will go as Jesus did. I will climb the mountain, cross the sea to share His love for me. I will seek to find the lost. I will have any cause. I will live each day to show the way. Who will go today? I will go. Christ as our example, perfect on every side.
Yet he lived his life each day to show us the right way. Lord, we give our hearts to you. Changes as you will.
As we seek our age forgotten soul, use us to reach that goal.
There's a hand that longs to be held. There's a heart that longs to be soothed. Who will answer duty's call? Who will strive to do a bit more? I will go to Gethsemane. I will go as Jesus did. I will climb the mountain, cross the sea to share His love for me. I will seek to find the lost. I will have any cause. I will live each day to show the way. Who will go today? I will go.
There's no mountain tall that we cannot climb. There's no ocean wide
that we cannot cross.
There's no jungle dark. There's no valley deep. Let's give our all to hear His call.
Let's give our all to hear His call. Who will go? I will go to Gethsemane. I will go as Jesus sea to share his love for me. I will seek to find the lost. I will help at any cost. I will live each day to show the way. Who will go today? With courage we will say. I will go wherever Jesus leads. I will go no matter the need. We will go. Who will go today?
Yes, I think we will go. Youth Gather will go. Youth of the World will go. Miss Caricom Foundation will go. And all the youths that are passionate about seeking solution to their intergenerational solidarity, we will all go. Thank you so much, all the speakers. Thank you, especially Your Excellency, Dr. Antine, for your continued support to this initiative. As I did mention to you from day one, we are not going to fail you, and we are still standing. The entire board of Governing Council Youth Gather Global, Prince Osita, Ambassador Diane, Miss Amaka, Mary Kuret,
Shepi.
My secretary, Shepi Motland, all the way. Her Excellency from South Dubai, Hajia Dubai, we call her Hajia Dubai. So, all of Laila, Laila Rahul, we are here and we still continue, and we are strengthened by your continued support. Now it's time for us to drive the SDG to the doorsteps of youth in developing countries. We are focusing on Africa. We are focusing on the Caribbeans and youth in diaspora. Thank you for being there for us. And we are going to get on board with youth and SDGs without stopping. So thank you all. And I want to use this opportunity to say, Youth Gather Global has come far. We have done well in 2 years. In fact, myself and Dr. Osita, we are trying to have a recap since 2020 when this initiative came up. Not even minding that we were soaked. We came up at the heat of COVID-19. And I found out that we have done a lot. We have done a lot. So time is now for an intergenerational solidarity movement. And that was why I was able to share this music, for us to see this, so the global youth action is solidarity. So time is now for true solidarity between the African youth, Caribbean youth, and youth in the diaspora. We have to move forward because as an African, we know that in a bunch of broom can never be broken. But when we are singled, then we are broken. So we are moving on to one direction. I thank Dr. Monica Sanchez for tuning into this initiative with her organization. And we are moving in solidarity, and partnership and capacity building will continue to be our strength. Thank you all, Dr. Star.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday to us.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Let us have our cameras on for our photo.
Everyone, please be on camera.
Every camera
Everyone,
spotlighted, please.
We have
two camera. Everyone.
Two people.
Everyone
we
be
have
on
two
camera,
people in the
please.
attendees. My chancellor. My chancellor. My chancellor.
Yes, let me promote them. Everyone come up. That the people for the Last Supper. I'm promoting you. Can you come on board?
Please,
Yes.
Buntle and Sonia, we welcome you. Come
Yes,
and dine with us.
Come up and try to be on
have-
camera.
Bishop.
Our bishop, please, can you be on camera? Yes.
As we acknowledge in CARICOM, we have a member from CARICOM, Sonia Noel.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, what a wonderful day. So let us all have our cameras
Bondia
out.
Shole. Hi. So good to see you here.
Yeah. Peters,
I'm going
can
to
you
call
be
you
on
to tell
camera?
you how much of your work I've followed.
Peters,
Well
can you
done.
be on
Well
camera?
done.
Thank you.
I'm having a problem with my internet. So if I put the camera on, it's going to, the internet is not very well right now.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Peters,
No
can you be on
problem.
camera?
Peter has two faces here. He has he's live and then one is covered.
Aisha Yusuf, Yunusa, come on board.
Well, we have done well.
Thank you,
all.
thank you. I
Yeah,
see, thank you,
Aisha, can you
Buntle.
be on camera, please?
Thank you. Where's my sister Buntle? South Africa is in the
Yeah,
house.
she is there. She's there. Thank you. Aisha, can you be on camera? Let's have your face. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Give some time, some are coming in. Yes.
Be smile. Don't forget to smile. Ibas.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a
Thank
wonderful
you and
celebration.
happy International Youth Day. Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful
Aisha,
meeting.
just
Thank you very
on
much.
camera. Did you get her on camera?
Hi, Oyo Paul, Uganda.
Oyo from Uganda. Oh my God. You're welcome. We have a
welcome.
bishop from Uganda in the house today.
Yes, yes, Uganda in the house.
Yes.
Uganda in the house. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you so much to
Thank you
everyone.
all and enjoy your day. Thank
Don't
you, Your
forget, let's
Excellency.
see you in
Thank you for your
October.
time. Thank you for your support.
October, we are
God will continue
celebrating.
to keep you for us.
October.
Yes, October 11 is the United Nations Day for the Girl Child. So we want the chapters to start the activities for the girl child for presentation on October 11. So get into work. Remember, we have agreed to move our solidarity forward. Yusufa, before then, we get we need mentorship of your team on this Mother United Nations. So we need you to get us your team for proper mentorship so that we can put you on the right track. Thank you and keep cool as a youth.
Thank you.
Whose
Yes.
future is sustained. No violence,
Yes.
no gun violence, no dropout
Yes.
from school. Remain focused as that youth that we need for a sustainable generation.
Yes.
Thank you all.